Greetings. Welcome to Wake the Dead. Today, we are continuing our almost year long weekly discussions with William and Hans. Hans Utter is co-hosting from the Resonant State podcast, and William Ramsey is our special guest, and he's bringing more information from the Epstein files. I mean, it was millions of documents, so there's plenty to look at. So we're here again, and we hope everybody had a good Mother's Day. We were off last week. Uh, this week, we are looking into the FBI intake files of the victims. Had a number to call to complain, and the government said, "Oh yeah, give us all your information, call us, let us know." And we're going to read what they learned, and we're going to see what kind of miscarriage of justice actually happened. So this is a very going to be great episode here with William, and we thank you very much, William, again for joining us, and we thank you, Hans, for co-hosting. It wouldn't be the same without you, so we're glad to have you both here. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. It's great to be back. And one thing we've done with the series is really going into the documentation. So we started out with this, release people will cover it. And even with the Epstein files, you get occasional bits and pieces here. But of course, due to the volume of material and then actually kind of going in line by line and the depth of it, and just to state, as we've covered at least tangentially, is that these tentacles reach out into education, right? Childhood development and AI governance. Okay. So this AGI is now really being pushed extensively. We have all these massive data centers being built all around the world. And AI is more and more permeating basic activity. So this is a major thrust of this as well. So just, not, I know thrust doesn't sound good talking about sex trafficking, but the the fact is that this really ties into this entire system that is attempted to be being unfolded, right? So we're looking. Hopefully, it's not going to come. I've started to see articles about food shortages, this and that, and the one other thing is that the interconnection. It's not only interconnected elites, again connected with governance of the society, the raising of children, but also what's quite interesting is that the I know I have to talk about the mass shooters, right? But what I discovered, so we're up to 184 mass shootings, 212 wounded, 710. 212 killed, 710 wounded, 1.34 per day. But mass shootings, there's all of these recruiting things online, right? So they're actually grooming people. There's a variety of these cults that kids are getting involved in, usually teenagers. And a number of these people have participated in the mass shootings. So this also ties into that aspect of grooming, right? We have online grooming, online recruitment. Not only for becoming a mass shooter psychopath, but also for sex trafficking as well. So this is all interconnected and interweaved. And then, of course, I'm sure Cash Patel is good to have a drink with, but not too much about the files. So here we are. So all right, and thank you, William, one of the great voices out there in the alternative media. He's been a real stalwart. So, Mr. William Ramsey, take it away.
Thanks for the great intros, and glad to be here. Glad to be with you again. Had a nice week off. Traveled, got off grid for 3 days in the redwoods, so feels refreshed. It was nice. Actually, you can kind of like if you get the chance to kind of de-electronicize yourself and get away from the grid, do it. Take every opportunity you can, because it's just so nice, like fresh air and natural sounds. Like I live in LA where it's totally unnatural. Anyway, it's true. There's a lot of these documents and things like that happen. It's endemic, this sex trafficking. It's for people who are not involved. They're probably shocked at the enormity of it. And for the people involved, they all just have to keep it quiet in there. Like it's like a code of silence, a doctrine of silence, and maybe even a cult where it's like you just keep quiet about what you're up to. But this is a massive trafficking thing. There's all these intake documents. The first couple of slides that I have kind of describe how the FBI takes stuff in. There are two different sets. There's an NTOC, crisis intake, where somebody calls in, and then a 302, which is the follow-on. And I think the 302s kind of came up in some of the Trump Russiagate stuff. But the 302 is like a legal document. If you lie on that, you supposedly, it's perjury, it's a felony. You can be sentenced to 5 years. So it's a serious document. You'll see those in here. Like I started with the NTOC ones, but there are also 302s. That means the FBI is like literally, and some of these involve like the assistant U.S. attorney and stuff, like federal, attorneys, very important people, are taking these intakes. So it's not like, some chain smoking woman at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night just picking up the phone, taking up stuff. Like these were really serious. And there's thousands of them, guys. There's so many. I tried to pick out. They're also very graphic. So I would definitely put a warning on these. These are very specific, vivid depictions of people telling their stories. And I didn't try to like cherry pick the most vivid ones, but I do think that it's important to show the extremity of what these accusations are. So I've included them in this. It depends how far we'll get into it. But if you remember, some of the most important timelines are Epstein's arrest. And these are all dated. That's very important. So they came in after Epstein's arrest, which was July 6, 2019. And then you'll see a flurry of these documents coming into the FBI. And then it's Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested. I think she was arrested the following year. I do have her arrest date on here. It was July 2nd, 2020, if you remember, in New Hampshire, she was arrested. So you'll see that these are following, like people felt comfortable enough. And some of these actual documents do show, like, I don't want to show up without an attorney. So like, it's pretty incredible. And the redactions are just off the charts. So from what you can tell, even with all these redactions, they're very important things about sexual abuse, Trump, Bannon, espionage, feeding things to alligators, kids being trafficked underneath the age of 10. So like this whole, like I've repeated it before in the past, that, what they've told the public, this kind of message, which I think is a very well thought out message on their behalf, is that these are people involved in Lolita or whatever, or teens or whatever. And it's not true. Maybe there is that, and there is that evidence or those facts in these files, but there's also really young kids, and there's like disappeared babies and stuff like that too. And I think it's becoming more and more evident that they're involved in cannibalism, man. Like I'm really not, like I mean that really serious. Like as I read through this, I didn't believe it the first time, but they're involved in very, very dark stuff. And there's stories of rituals and things going on that island that people were talking about in the past, and they've kind of been validated by the release of these files. So you have to kind of go back through to Pizzagate and all this other stuff. And we've done that through Abramovich and those things like that. But anyway, my first intros, and also this one interesting case that not a lot of people have covered, which is in a connection to Epstein, is these Alexander brothers who were recently convicted of drugging and raping girls for decades. Like they literally were. Not a lot of people know the story. I don't know if it's really been covered, but they were prosecuted and they haven't been sentenced yet. But it's three brothers in Miami who were associated and mentioned in these files, by the way, in an intake file that didn't get acted on. And that's kind of how I start this off. So I don't know if you guys feel like reading a lot. I can do some reading, but there's a lot of material here. So I'm ready to get started.
Yeah.
Did any of these get acted on?
Good question. Really, really good question.
Sorry.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't
Right.
think one was acted on, guys.
Because we haven't seen anything like other than Maxwell,
Right.
as far
Well,
as
I think that this will be hopefully eye-opening for you two
Right.
guys and for the audience to see that this information's coming in, but you don't see this mass prosecution. And the public story is, they tried to, what do you call it, like stovepipe it, like, oh, it's just Jeff and Matt and Ghislaine and they're pedophiles and we got them,
right. And they were only doing sex stuff. There was no
Right.
finances, no any of that.
No drugs, no
Right.
murder.
Right.
Bro,
Yeah,
once we
murder.
go, I mean, we'll have to do a private thing of the murders associated with the Epstein network. It'll blow your freaking mind. You will be in shock.
Yeah, well, there's a whole network. I mean, Ohio is really a central point for this. Ties into the mega group, ties into 9/11, but also, again, just to reiterate, all those codes that were made fun of for the Pizzagate stuff, they're using the same codes, and they're talking sometimes about cannibalism, etc. But I think what is stunning, and I just want to. I've been doing some stuff which I'm going to be putting out soon, on the world brain, global brain, 6G, computer integrated human networks. That is the next phase that is being pushed again with the data centers by the same people that are doing industrial scale trafficking, and they're out there, they're out there prosecuting, white nationalists or something, or Republicans, or I mean, you look at the resources, or fake, setting up fake terrorist attacks or whatever, and they just don't. They just let that stuff go. So, William, would you have any idea, like a guesstimate, like how many, if we look at Epstein's career, how many women were trafficked through his network? Would he even come up with a number? Um,
In my opinion, it's over 5 figures. And a lot of these people, they're not in, but they seem to like it's the same thing with Cosby, which was smaller. Cosby didn't seem to be working in a network as far as I could tell. But a lot of the women went on with their lives. They got married, they had children, they didn't want to come forward. And I think the Epstein's like that too. So you don't see the largest percentage of all these people coming forward. Some have like there are new people who showed up in Congress last week that I've never seen before, like some woman from Kazakhstan. Like, whoa. And what you realize, even in these files that I've put together for today, or maybe today and next Sunday, is how international this was. Brazil, Eastern Europe, Norway, Sweden, those kind of Nordic countries, just all over the place, just women, Cuba. Like, wow, just they are just searching for women at every, like, ballerinas and all this other stuff. So 10,000, that 5 figure number of women, and probably perps in the thousands, I would say. I think that's fair. It's not a small number of figures. I think it's like circles that increase in space and time, and you can see people sent to other people. And some of these people, like, forgot the girl from South Africa. She said she was raped 3 times a day on the island. And there's more stories coming out, guys. It's really crazy, like the stuff, the ritual stuff, and that Jeff would like. The temple is like an epicenter, but there's a story that I read a while back that, like, I've read it in context, and apparently they would set up like a theater, and they had code word. They had this another code words. Is that theater was a code word, so you would read it like, we're going to the theater. Well, the theater was Jeff getting up on a stand saying stuff like Aleister Crowley, like, there are no rules here. Everybody is totally free. So it's like Crowley's idea of freedom. And then the orgies would start like that dark.
Marquis de Sade, we
Yeah,
went to that
yeah.
Marquis de Sade,
Yeah,
but
Salo.
like the
It goes back.
Salo, yeah, the
yeah,
building in Salo where they all go to
yeah.
do the thing.
Right. So I think that the island was like Salo, guys. And it may not have been that apparent to me even when we did that show. And I'll maybe I'll find it and find the story, and we can read it tonight. It'll just blow your mind, man. Like talking about like the Baal stuff. So on the island, they would designate somebody to wear the bullhead, and that person would be like the representation of the entity, almost like presencing from the Order of Nine Angles. And that person would walk around, and you'd have to obey. That was like their sport. Like, you'd have to obey the Baalists. Like the Baalists was like the god. And it
Right.
goes back to the whole like burning stuff and all those things.
Like King for a Day,
Yeah.
also the whole
Oh,
stuff from
yeah.
yeah.
Just like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's we know, Sean. We talked about this some of the shows I did with you, Kilifat, is that these ancient cults are still operational. We
Right.
see it again here, and they're choosing Baal, right? And just one thing again, how pervasive this is with the culture. I mentioned these online recruiting, all this stuff. Even you have the voluntary sex trafficking, like whatever. You know what I mean? All these girls that are just like doing this porn stuff. So, and the thing is, they talk about feminism. They don't give a damn. Look at the number of rapes in Europe. They don't give a damn about that.
Yeah,
Right?
they tell the women to get better shoes so they can run away. They don't tell them you should have a gun or like, bring your man or whatever. They just get some good shoes.
Hmm.
So when you get attacked, you can run faster. Like, wear your sneakers out, or like instead of your high heels. Like, okay.
Just say one last thing on the ball thing. So again, permeating the culture. So Marilyn Manson had a lot of songs telling his fans to cut themselves. This cutting is something that was done by followers of ball. They would cut themselves in these ceremonies. So this cutting practice that's come through a lot of like popular music, popular culture, and going through various, mimetic warfare avenues like these things. This is a part of ball worship. It always has been for millennia. So this stuff is still active and it may be slightly obscured, but they're directly referencing it. They're not, they could still do the same thing and, make it like Lord of the Flies. No, they're doing ball. They are invoking these same demonic entities or whatever you want to call it.
It goes back to the Old Testament. If you hear about Elijah contesting with the priest of Baal, they were down at the river and they were doing their rituals, bloodletting. They were letting their blood. That's how they summoned their entities. And then Elijah pours the water on the logs and says, I think it was Elijah, pours the water, and then the priest of Baal, and then the fire comes down. And then Elijah takes them down to the river and slits the priest of Baal's throats. Like, it's a little pretty graphic. It doesn't seem very
little bloodletting of his own.
Old Testament. Yeah,
right. Bloodletting. But that blood is the power of life, just like the sex magic, it's blood magic too. And so that's the same idea when they're raping kids. It's the sex magic is like stealing the essence of their energy, of their life force. It's the same thing when you're taking someone's blood, you're draining their life force, right?
Right. But yeah, I'm going to try to find this thread for you guys. It'll blow your mind, man. This was one that was done before the Epstein files came out. Anyway, I guess we can just start with this. Like, I tried to just go back, like I stated at the intro, the times and dates of everything. When Epstein got arrested, this is July 8th, but I think he was arrested on 6th at Teterboro. But I think it's important, and they only got him from how he was doing between 2002 and 2005. And you'll see this on this. If you go to the next slide here, I'm trying to just focus on this this highlighted thing. If you believe you are a victim of the sexual abuse perpetrated by Jeffrey Epstein, please contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI and reference this case. So people actually called. Like, this was not emphasized in any public articles, to my knowledge. Like, I read a lot, and I haven't seen even like the researchers that who I admire. Like, I think Ryan Dawson and Whitney Webb have done a great job, but you don't see them talking about this yet. What's important is to see the enormity, and sometimes this happens in civil litigation. This is not civil litigation. It's pertaining to a criminal complaint and also an act of Congress, right? The EFTA, the Epstein Files Transparency Act. It's still in play right now. Like, it's like literally I'm watching the network operate, like literally in store. Like, I can tell these people are blackmailed or churned, or it's still happening. But it's also up for grabs in the Massey primary, which is happening on the 19th. One of the guys who jumped ship from the Republicans, supposedly the most moral group, the Christians, right? They're the ones they're the ones who prevented the EFT from coming out or from actually being written into law. I'm going to do a show on the cover up just to make things clear. So people will it'll be abundantly clear exactly what happened, how these files were accumulated, where they came from, how they were played like a political hot potato, and then how they were finally released and dumped. And this shows like these intake things it's just like, it's almost like confetti. Like, you're going through something that went through a paper shredder. And I think it's all intentional. I was trying to say earlier is they do this in civil litigation. So like, if there's a party suing like Standard Oil or Trust, they're like, oh, we want discovery. And did Standard Oil say, sure, you got discovery? Here's 20 million pages. And that's what they did with this, is like, they're just drowning people in like massive amounts of documentation, repetitive documentation, redacted. And in my opinion, it's all intentional. In my legal opinion, it is all intentional. And they did it in a weird way. There was 12 data sets, Sean, you know this. But the data sets, like, they're very rational up until data set 8. And then 9, 10 are just like freaking millions of documents. You can barely even go through them on sites that have taken the documents offline, or even if you download them from a torrent or something. Really hard to go through. So I'd like people to kind of understand that, like, this is intentional obfuscation. And this is from Grok. He's like dataset 9, crisis intake report scattered throughout it. So that's it. But there is a different, one of the things is the differentiation between the 302 and the intake form. So the 302 is kind of like the follow on to the intake, which we can go over those as well. But it just shows the mechanics of the FBI moving through stuff.
And it shows that the FBI thinks it's legit and it's worth calling the person back. You know what I mean? And following up on this thing, because anybody can make a statement. But then when the FBI is like, okay, that's one we need to follow up on. And so that means it gives it more gravitas, right? Like you were saying that they can't lie on this. They go to jail if they get caught, There's more gravitas, right?
Exactly. Like they're actually, the FBI, the rank and file FBI are doing their job, it seems like. But here it's USC, so it's a federal statute, 1001. False statements to the U.S. government is a federal felony. You don't even have to sign an oath or anything. No document. It's just material. 5-year in federal prison penalty with fines up to $250,000. So it happens. Like Martha Stewart got busted for that. And that's right. Michael Flynn's 302s were questioned. So, and it's even up today. They're asking for phone calls for sexual predators. This is actually from April 12th, 2026, the same kind of number. This goes back to Epstein. Same thing. Call FBI. And then the field officer, this guy's O'Neill. This was something, remarks that he prepared publicly. And if you remember when Epstein got arrested, there was Joffrey Berman, who was the attorney, the federal attorney, for the Southern District of New York. But they had, they're like, and Joffrey Berman's literally pointing at a thing saying, call this number, right? And so what we're going to get to is these people who actually called the numbers. Like I said, I keep repeating myself, but I'm just trying to emphasize it. So there it is right here on the bottom. Call the number, 1-800-CALL-FBI, right? Let's see. Today I'm asking everybody to take a good look at this man. If you've been victimized by him in any way or have any additional information about his alleged illegal behavior, we want to hear from you. Whatever age you are now, what age you are then, no matter what and where the incidents took place. Your bravery might just empower others to speak out about crimes committed against them. They're all intimidated too, by the way. So then it's July 2nd, 2020. And you can, in this thing, you can kind of figure out the FBI standard form, FD 302, used to document and summarize formal interviews, just like you said, John, conducted by agents with the witnesses, victims, suspects, or individuals. It's includes details like date, location, participants, what was said. So you just see all this stuff. And there's like a difference here between crisis intake. But we're going to go to these two brothers who a lot of people haven't heard the story about, the Alexander brothers. This is a recent trial. These are luxury real estate brokers, so they're kind of in these elite circles. They're in the Epstein files, and they're in the intake stuff too. And you'll see the date. But they were just convicted. And this is their indictment from March 2025. I don't know if you want to read this, but it's basically like the Epstein tactic, like grooming, models, drugging. I don't know. Do you guys want to read this indictment, or should we just scroll through it? You do? Okay.
Sure.
You have a copy of that,
so this is page 1.
This is all public documents, yeah.
Okay. Jeffrey Epstein charged in Manhattan federal court with sex trafficking of minors.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm at page 19. Page 19 on the PDF.
I see. Okay. All right. So Elon Alexander, Oren Alexander, and Tal Alexander, defendants. Count 1, the grand jury charges 1, for well over a decade, and at all times relevant to this indictment, Elon Alexander, Oren Alexander, and Tal Alexander, collectively the Alexander brothers, the defendants, worked together and with others known and unknown to repeatedly and violently drug, sexually assault, and rape dozens of female victims, At times, the Alexander brothers arranged for these sexual assaults well in advance, using the promise of luxury experiences, travel, and accommodations to lure and entice female victims to locations where they were then forcibly raped or sexually assaulted, sometimes by multiple men, including one or more of the Alexander brothers. Other times, the Alexander brothers encountered and chose their victims by chance. Often, the Alexander brothers drugged their victims before assaulting them, preventing them from fighting back or escaping. 2. Elon Alexander, Oren Alexander, and Tal Alexander, the defendants, worked together and with others to carry out and facilitate their sex trafficking scheme, including on some occasions by committing forcible rapes and sexual assaults together and with others, jointly arranging domestic and international travel and accommodations, and jointly financing the scheme. Background. 3. Elon, Oren, and Tal, the defendants, are brothers. Elon and Oren are twins, and Tal is approximately 1 year older. At all times relevant to this indictment, Oren Alexander and Tal Alexander were real estate agents who focused on ultra-luxury markets in New York City, Miami, Florida, and other locations. Starting in at least in or about 2012, Elon was an executive of a private security firm owned and operated by his family. Starting in or about, it's really weird, but anyway, 2009, Elon, Oren, and Tal, the defendants, and others, known and unknown, operated a long-running sex trafficking scheme, as part of which they raped and sexually assaulted female victims to whom they had provided material benefits, including domestic and international travel to vacation destinations, luxury accommodations at high-end hotels and vacation properties, and access to other luxury experiences and events.
Just like Epstein, right?
Right. Yeah. Epstein's probably the unknown of the knowns. There's known unknown. Anyway, the Alexander Brothers scheme was based in, among other places, Manhattan, New York, and Miami, Florida, where the defendants maintained residences and where their businesses were based. To carry out and facilitate their sex trafficking scheme, Elon, Oren, and Tal used deception, fraud, and coercion to cause victims to travel with them or meet them in private locations. Thereafter, the Alexander brothers used various methods, including drugging the victims and, at times, physical force to rape and sexually assault the victims, sometimes alone and sometimes together. In particular, the defendants used the following means and methods, among others, to carry out their sex trafficking scheme. A. The Alexander brothers used their wealth and positions to create and facilitate opportunities to rape and sexually assault female victims. I keep thinking of that movie that we talked about, with the drug, the
Blink
flowers.
Twice.
Blink Twice, right? Yes, exactly.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, Sean, because I'd like to show you a picture that was posted by this great woman. Her name is Becca something, but she does great research. But this is one of the things that she posted, and I'll explain it to you why it's interesting and ties into Blink Twice.
Right.
Because who's that on the far left? That's Diddy. So he had his own weird drugging thing going on. There's Trump. There's supposedly one of his victims in the blue. There's this guy named Ben who he knows, but who's that right next to the guy in the blue Oxford shirt? That's Lenny Kravitz. And we mentioned him because that's the father of the director of Blink Twice.
Right. Zoe Kravitz.
Zoe Kravitz, yeah.
Right. And the mother was in a satanic movie with
Angel Heart.
Angel Heart. Yes. Great movie. We talked about it with Brett, actually.
Right. It makes more sense, right? So now blink twice. That means like we were talking, like I didn't know her dad's connection to Trump, but she's like Hollywood royalty. Well, she's close to Trump in this whole network. And this beautiful woman here in the middle, that's like one of his so-called victims or whatever. I wish I could remember this girl's name. Becca Day, I think is her name. Becca Day. You got to watch her videos, man. And I posted one of her other. She does articles on Substack that are dynamite, man. She's like great. She's fantastic.
Well, and that's one of the things with this campaign, right? So by releasing the documents with these very complex, disorganized, this is a type of disinformation. This is removing it because it's so you can't follow it, and it's just like move on, guys. Nothing to see here. But I mean, the P Diddy scandal, all these things, these are all interconnected, right? And then you have this, and you also have people, you have the wealth, the power, the modeling. You also have connections with the cult organizations. So you have entertainment, media, and these guys are right there in the middle. These are shared networks, right? It's not just Diddy did his own thing on his own, probably just like the Alexander brothers, right? There's so many different players so Epstein is while he's very important, there's many other people involved, maybe on smaller scales. But then when you see, it's kind of like franchise, right? You got one Burger King. Now you got thousands of Burger Kings with different managers, but they're all selling hamburgers, right? And so, you know what I mean? So this is so epidemic. And the thing is, though, that it's too much for people, most people that cannot comprehend this. And you get cognitive dissonance. You shut down and you can't get through the media. You get enough things, you get a few blurbs, and then just move on to the next story. Well, this is the infrastructure of, again, the people promoting global governance, AI governance, the people promoting whatever, Iran war, this and that. I mean, the new virus, same people behind all these activity streams. And then just one last thing on law enforcement. This stuff is just softballed. I mean, after decades, people get caught. P. Diddy abused how many people? There was no complaints? No. This went on for years, and there were many complaints, but nothing ever happened. And just an example, though, of this disparate policing in UK, I think it was yesterday, this 18-year-old kid got stabbed to death 7 times by the Sikh guy with a sword. And they handcuffed him because the Sikh guy said, he was racist. And they let him bleed to death. They handcuffed him and let him bleed to death on the ground.
They arrested the victim.
They arrested the victim and let him bleed to death. That is the policing we have right now.
Stabbed in the lung.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so just to bear in mind, I think we want to get the visceral nature and the interconnected nature, cinema, movies, television, politics, finance, high academia, research, high-tech research, pharmaceuticals, whatever. It's all connected, or a lot of it's connected on these networks.
That's correct. Becca Day, I think that you're right. That's it. And Diana says, any chance Trump will pardon the Alexander brothers? That's a great comment, because here's the, let's go straight ahead, where they're like literally waiting for a pardon from Trump. You can't make this stuff up. Let's see if it's it right here. Oh, shoot. Let me see if I can figure this out.
If George W. Bush can pardon that murderer guy, what's his face? Then it's anything's on the table. Anybody can pardon anybody.
They're taking here it is right here. This is slide 36. He says their best bet may be clemency from the White House, which they are purportedly exploring. This is a recent article. The only real chance of freedom for the Alexander brothers isn't a successful appeal, but a presidential pardon because of the family's connection with President Trump. Romani adds, they thought they were above the law. I really think they're monsters. So good comment, Diana. You feel like reading some more? Let me see if I can find Becca Day's stuff. It's just great stuff.
I'll keep going while you look. So they used the brothers used their prominent positions in the real estate industry to induce other women and girls to attend events and parties and to meet other female victims at those events and parties, whom one or more of the defendants later sexually assaulted. Didn't that also happened in Blink Twice? There's like this party at the beginning where the woman was a waitress at, anyway, it was a chance encounter. Anyway,
Don't you think the grapevine works that these people know, like they knew the Alexander brothers were dangerous, or there are rumors of women? Like women talk,
yeah,
like especially about this type of stuff. I think like, oh, those you might not wake up and not remember stuff or whatever. Like so.
How much, remember that Epstein was talking, I'm looking at memory erasure, right? How to erase memories of trauma. And so that, of course, the big thing of Blink Twice, besides really revealing probably what actually happens, is that people could be victimized multiple times and not really remember. They feel a little weird. I mean, eventually they put it together, but I mean, this is not only through drugs, through trauma. I mean, I think that's a big part of it, is to, erase their memories.
Satanic ritual abuse, anyone like ding, ding, ding. It's erasing the memories, and the memories flood back in their 30s or something long after they're done with these victims.
This is the girl Substack. Please check her out, Becca Day. I'll put a link in my show notes. Very worth your time. And some of these articles I've never heard. Like this girl is race. I've never heard her name. Like some of these people are coming out of the woodwork. Like I don't even know who some of these people are, but they're all like, just like Hans said, you just see the same names and faces. And this is like literally, she's with a Rothschild right here, and that's the guy who runs the hotel in Hollywood, the famous one. I can't remember. It's on Sunset. Shoot, somebody in the show notes will know it. Yeah, she has great articles, and they're good reading. They're really good. So anyway, sorry.
It's great. I hope you get her on the show, your show.
So do I.
That'd be good. So I'll keep going. Here we go. At times, the Alexander brothers used social connections or the guise of starting a relationship to lure and entice female victims to meet with one or more of them at a public place or group event, or to travel to meet one or more of the defendants. On multiple occasions, the defendants, alone or together, then sexually assaulted the female victims, sometimes within hours of their meeting. Immediately following the sexual assaults, the defendants sometimes offered the victims material items, including travel, concert tickets. Oh, I'll get you these P. Diddy tickets. Just don't say anything. It's disgusting.
Backstage, and here's a backstage pass to meet Diddy. Right. After I raped you. Let's go hang out with Diddy.
Yeah, call
dude.
Diddy.
How many of these women have been like abused in multiple occasions, like Virginia Giuffre or something?
Right. Yeah. And like they're a commodity to be traded amongst each other, Some trips and events were organized by the Alexander brothers well in advance and involved domestic and international travel. The Alexander brothers worked together and with others to recruit women and girls to attend these events and trips. The defendants, at times with others, shared photographs of women and girls to select those they found sufficiently attractive to invite.
That's a very important point. So that's pre-selection, right? So you see this kind of pre-selection of elites, which I think happens in the SFK cases, and I think that they overlap with something the Alexander brothers were doing and Epstein, is this drugging and forgetting and stuff.
Right. And Epstein was trading pictures. Like he was taking pictures of the women. They were holding up their ponytail and they're turning around and shit. Go ahead. Sorry.
Voluminous, bro. There's like hundreds of thousands of pictures that were released. Some are redacted, but like they said, I was reading something the other day. They haven't. I guess for Ghislaine Maxwell was a real photographer, and they haven't released any of her pictures yet. So like, there's just so much more that has been brought.
That's why she's there at that job. Like, oh man, never mind. Go ahead.
I wanted to say that, with what I've been researching these, online cults, again, recruiting, the mass shooters, but also the sex trafficking. One of the big things they do is they get them to take pictures and then they blackmail them with the pictures they've taken and force them to do more sex acts and this and that. And so that's, I wonder if there's a certain extent of holding photographs and videos over the heads of these people to get them to keep them locked in the network, creating this sense of guilt. Because like I said, with the online sex trafficking, underage stuff, that's a big part of it. Is there any evidence of that or no?
Not to my knowledge, but there's a lot of pics being shared in the Epstein files. So they're definitely doing something like the Alexander brothers. Like, I got one from Eastern Europe, 18 years old. Here's a pic, but the pic is redacted or it's not included. Um, so I think that that's kind of like they're like a pedophile, like they have those pedophile networks where they share CSAM with each other. So I think these kind of elite sex traffickers do something like that. I think the evidence shows that, the facts show that.
Right.
Great comment here by Deb. The interesting connection with Blink Twice is Carlos Slim. His museum is shown at the beginning of the film. I was not aware of that. Slim funded Sound of Freedom and worked with Tim Ballard. Well, there are rumors about Carlos Slim and some of his private parties, which are a lot like Blink Twice. So it makes perfect sense that they filmed that in a museum.
Wow.
I cannot even believe this. So, like, I'll show you
It
the
also
Carlos
had
Slim
that-
information.
It also had art from the guy who did The Thinker. We were talking about that. It had the arch or the doorway. We talked about that in the last show, the art show.
Rodin, who was actually
Rodin, right.
who was an occultist, right? So he was into spiritualism. He was connected with the
That was in the film.
Yeah, so that Rodin ties into, of course, we saw the gates of hell, right, and all that stuff. And again, he tried to channel whatever, to what extent I don't know, but he was definitely involved in spiritualist circles and tried to bring to life things that he felt he connected with in his seances or whatever. So these are all, and then again, what we have is this revelation of the method where they show the revenge right at the end of Blink Twice, but actually these are the people that are doing it.
Yeah.
And they're showing it, and then they have this sort of, the girl goes and kills everybody and whatever. It's empowerment, but actually the people involved in that are doing it. So this is what makes it another. Yeah, I mentioned I think 2 weeks ago the mockers. Right here we are. We'll show you, and we're part of it. And here's
Right.
Carlos Slim. So this is just part of the same type of game, right?
Right. Yeah. The thumbnail that I used for that Blink Twice episode was Haley Joel Osment in the pool after he gets stabbed in the neck, and he's wearing the Lolita glasses. And it's like, and what is he famous for? That line where he's like, I see dead people, It's like a little kid and he's like, oh, I see dead people. But then what is he seeing it through? The glasses of the Lolita, the cover of Lolita. And those glasses, like the hearts, they represent child sex. Like that's what those heart glasses are. It's just Lolita glasses, and he's wearing them like to be silly. And then just that, like right there, it's really interesting how she put it together. I think Zoe Kravitz is a really good artist. I think she did a good job. Yeah.
I do too. I think it's a pretty good movie. I give it a 4 out of 5. There's so much more in there because after Epstein got arrested in July, one of the books we have his records. He bought an annotated Lolita, and he knew the kind of inside kind of ball game that was in Lolita, much like the film has the symbols and stuff, ping pong. I think he knew the kind of what Nabokov was kind of putting in there, something different than a superficial reader or something like that. Like he knew what some of the secret meanings of what Nabokov was putting in there.
Nabokov was abused by his dandy uncle.
Makes perfect sense. The and then one of the interesting ties, I think I mentioned another one, is that the guy who worked under Nabokov, his last name was Epstein too, but his Jay Epstein was a friend of Jeffrey Epstein. And Jay Epstein became like a JFK specialist and writer, but he's chatting with Jeffrey Epstein all the time. They are friends. They are intimate friends. So it's a direct tie between Epstein and Nabokov. It's not 6 steps. It's like 1 degree of separation.
And like all of Nabokov's books feature child predation, like child attraction to young girls, like all of the books. Ben the Sinister. Like there's some really like he's a famous writer. Like and he talks about like how his uncle would like give him a green leaf, and then like what's that? That's the old language from before they were saying CP or pizza, they were like it was green leaf, and then you go and look around and like, oh, the green leaf freaking, camp place or whatever where Tracy Twyman was looking at before she got what happened to her.
Wow.
Like there's Nabokov knew all of the codes from like the old type codes because he was predated on as a kid by like those rich people, like his uncle was so that I think he was putting those codes in the book just like other occultists when they they use the language of occultism, and they got their own special form of occult is predation of children. They keep that a secret. That's hidden, right? That's occulted, like literally occult. And those people, they have their own little terminology. Just like when you used to go buy a bag of weed, you used to say, "Oh, let me get a term that if a cop looked at your phone, it wouldn't be obvious." Like it's so
like
simple.
a dime bag, or like what kind of terms would they have? Like
you'd say for an eighth would be like a slice of pizza, even though pizza, right? But still, it's like you cut a pizza into 8 slices. So like, there's all kinds of that one's pretty simple, but there's everybody's dealer has a code, and you know what I mean? Like, and people when they go to a new dealer, they'll try to use the same code they used for the last guy, and so there's kind of universal codes, and like people can key onto these things, and they know amongst themselves what they're. So Nabokov was one of them, and he was using those codes in his books, and he was. So I think people should look further into that.
Did you guys remember seeing the Gates of Hell in that film, Blink Twice? Because
we talked about, or when we were doing the art episode, there was informed listener was commenting the same stuff, that the Gates of Hell was in Blink Twice, because we were talking about Rodin because of the Crowley intro to the book and all that. That was
because
mentioned.
Epstein wanted to buy a copy of the Gates of Hell. It was $22 million.
Ninth Gate. Hey, I just shared the picture of his museum. If you don't mind, just show you real quick. There's some just interesting this Carlos Slim museum there, and that's so you can see this kind of architectural. What is that supposed to be? You know what I mean? But we just look down here at some of these images, right? I mean, we don't see much, but look at this. Looks like these 3 guys with a little boy, right? You know what I mean? You got this girl, you got all these weird, human figures, but this looks like 3 guys, with a kid. And so, this girl looks in that.
That's Rodin art right there, by the way.
Okay. Well, there you go.
That 3-piece is Rodin. There's no question.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got these sculptures and this art. That's another one of the codes, right? The key codes for this, this thing. So that's all for that. But yeah, it's like, there we go. The art ties into this whole world, right? It's all connected.
We should talk about Alex Gray someday. I got these notes, guys. Oh man, but I won't say nothing now.
Guys,
but that's the whole art thing, and like the scene, and like. But anyway, go ahead.
That's an art depiction called the 3 Shades. Auguste Rodin, modeled 1886.
And what I notice most is how the heads are smushed down. They're flattened. It's like they're under something pushing them down.
6 feet tall, 7 feet wide. Stand close to center. They stand on rocky ground. The 3 Shades. There it is, top of the Gates of Hell.
Oh, I see. They're on the top of the Gates of Hell.
3 Shades originally created as part of French sculpture Gates of Hell. While plans for a museum were canceled, worked on the Gates of Hell until his death until 1917. Rodin's inspiration for The Doors was the Divine Comedy, Dante Alighieri's 3-part medieval Italian poem that tells the story of his fictional journey through hell, purgatory, and heaven. As Dante journeyed through hell, he encountered shades, the souls of the dead, condemned to suffer for their sins.
Huh.
Wow. If anybody can find a clip or like a screenshot of the gates of hell in Blink Twice, please share it.
Yeah, next week, please. Yeah.
Share it now. Send
Well,
it to
yeah,
me.
or that. Yeah, right.
But
Yeah,
in the art thing, I did mention like one of the functions of art can also be a type of coding of information for insiders, right?
exactly.
So by showing that in the film, you cue people in who are part of it that, hey, you know what I mean? So you're giving, and most people aren't going to notice that, or if they notice it, they're not going to know its connection with this stuff. They won't, you know what I mean? It won't have any special meaning, but you tip people off. You create this like hidden coded language, right? Um,
That's right. Yeah, that really that's one of the reasons why they occult it from us is so that we don't know their hidden language, because they're speaking it in the open. Anyway, uh, the defendants and other girls trips social media. Let's see.
Where we're on, like, I think we made it to E, but before we get started, I want to just share this Carlos Slim anecdote because people have seen this is unbelievable, guys. They've seen this picture of this woman having like a mental breakdown about them eating people. And I'll show you.
Yes, Spanish.
That's related
woman.
to Carlos Slim, Sean.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Wow.
let's check that out. Wow, yeah.
So there she is, Mexican model Gabriela Rico Jimenez. Appeared in a viral
She's
video
gone.
claiming cannibalism, murders, and elite rituals at a Monterey party tied to Epstein's network. She's quickly arrested and disappeared. Rumors about elite dinner parties hosted by Carl Slim largely stem from a viral 2009 incident involving a Mexican model who made unverified claims about secret elite societies. There's absolutely no credible evidence, legitimate journalism, or official documentation to support these dark conspiracy theories. That's Google's job.
Are you going to get any official documents like, yes, they were eating people at 9:35 p.m. Like,
They killed people. They ate human flesh, right? And
Right.
there's that other movie, Sean, you familiar with, where the guy, his friend has this job, like elite chef job, and he goes out, he gets all this super amount of money, and his friend calls him to work with him, and it turns out it's a human flesh feast, right?
Right.
And his friend kills himself, then he takes the role. So he gets all this money, but he has to do these elite dinner parties, and they actually have to go hunt the victims. The chefs do, but they cook them with we have people coming from all over the world, and they're paying
Right.
millions of dollars for these meals. And here we go.
Like the Kurth Barker's testimony in his book. Like Kurth Barker talks in Cannibalism, Blood Drinking, and High Adept Satanism. There was they would have these parties where the guy, the host of the place, the rich guy, he was vegan the rest of the time. The only meat that he did eat was humans. And they would get people like Mexicans or whatever, but they would also get like important people, and they would have like high people that are like high in society. That, I guess this guy didn't eat the Mexicans. There was the other ones that would eat the Mexicans. Not that they're bad or anything. Anyway, but these people at the party, they would have a table, and everybody's sitting at this round table, and at the center of the table is a card with a photograph of the human that they're eating. And on the back of the card, it describes his life. And they're all like, this is, and they're learning of it. And as they're consuming his life force, his energy, it's really, holy crap. But it's organized parties, like once a year would be a big deal for this dude. And all these people would come, and they would all, feast on humans. That's just one of many testimonies I've read.
Well, do you mind going back to that lady's testimony? We maybe read that. I thought that was interesting. The last thing you had, that Mexican model,
Could we play the video? She's like screaming, "They ate humans."
Yeah, there was like a text thing with her testimony or her statement in that last thing you were showing. William, did you?
Oh, you didn't. You're muted, William. You're muted. We don't hear you, William.
All right, this is it. What did I think that there is a YouTube clip? Oh, there she is. Can you hear that?
I didn't hear nothing.
What? You should be able to hear it now.
Yep.
I can't play this on my thing. I'll get demonetized.
You maybe mute it and we could read.
Do you want to read what she said here?
I'll
You can just
read
read
what
it.
she said. Can you put the comment away so we can see the whole screen? Sorry. Okay. And then I'll read the translation, and you can play it at muted, and maybe that won't
Let me see if I can download
trigger the YouTube. It hurts my soul that they took. Okay. That'll work. I wanted my freedom. Monterey freed me, but it cost me a lot of work. I was in Mexico City for a year and 4 months. All this began in mid-2001. I barely remember. They were young and powerful, and they killed them. I've been knocking on doors. What I wanted was my freedom. I want my freedom. Carlos Slim knew about this. I want my freedom. It hurts my soul that they took him away. Police, and this is where we start to see on the video. Leave me alone. They have already taken me to the police station, and there they told me that they knew nothing. They took me to the general hospital. She points at officers. You were there. Go get the blank. You killed Mourinho. They told me, who did they kill? The Queen of England? The Queen of Germany? Did they kill the princesses and Mickey Mouse? It was also him. Gabriella points at an officer. So one of the officers was also part of this. Okay. So that makes sense, of course. So what? Nothing is going to come here? The people where you come from are crazy. They killed a lot of people. Death to that kind of human. Go away. They ate humans. Disgusting. They ate humans. I wasn't aware of anything. Of the murders, yes. But they ate humans. Humans. They smell like human flesh. The female officer approaches. You are not going to take me until this is clarified. You already took me there. Let me go. She's struggling, and they take her to an armored vehicle. This is the sad reality of young Gabriella. She was taken away by the police, who was there. One of them was there, and she recognized them as the culprits. That's who they... Okay, take it away.
We talked about 2666, and it's in these files that I have from the NTOC, the Mexican trafficking and all that stuff. So you have to see Epstein as part of this international demonic elite. There's just no question. And we can do a whole show on Slim. It'll freak you out. His business tactics, I know a lot about that guy. I know a lot about a lot of stuff, but what they would do, he made his money on cell phones, but what he would do is he would just tell people, I'm putting a cell phone up right here, a tower, and you're either going to take it, or I'm going to move you, or I'm going to have somebody come to your house. And they would just do it because it was just all muscle, like literally cartel type, like gangster freaking capitalism. And that's how he expanded his cell phone network through Mexico. It was just like, you didn't have an option, man. You either got like the silver or the lead, so to speak. So,
Well, he should work for these data centers here.
yeah, he'd be great. I'm sure they're going to have a data center wherever they want in Mexico. You can believe it. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
right.
we'll just move these peasants away. That's the way they do it.
Kill.
And there's
kill the
really
poor.
rough, there's rough pedo networks there and stories. And I mean, Juarez is just the tip of the iceberg. America's rough, but
we did talk about that. You
we
showed
did.
the pictures. Yep, right.
Yeah, it's Roberto. What was the guy's last name?
And the data centers, I mean, China has what, 1,800? US are putting in 5,100 data centers. Completely destroy. I mean, it's going to just wipe out electricity. What? For what? Well, one of the
No
things.
more water for humans.
Yeah,
Just
complete surveillance, robot policing, robot dogs. I mean, they're trying to, digital currency. I mean, the data centers are to drop down absolute ultimate control grid, which requires depopulation to really initialize. But that's what's on the books. There's no reason to have these data centers are insane. I mean, they just. They're anti-life. They're taking the water. They're destroying electrical infrastructure. Like, look at Aspen, all over the country.
Are you telling me you're against progress? How could you, Hans? This is progress. We're moving in the future.
I'm calling the FBI. I got their number right here.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, so in the future, you'll just have the friggin' drone. If you start saying that, the drone will just come down and shoot you. Police don't have to be involved. And as soon as AI has governance, no one's accountable, right?
Right.
So they're trying to do total AI governance. Again, same people. And I just had a
Even
thing.
Joe Rogan is talking about that. Like, that might be a good idea.
Dude.
Let AI be government. Dude, why not just have no government? I mean, what the hell, people?
They have
let AI take over.
They have court systems running off AI in multiple countries. Divorce courts running from AI. I just dealt with a car insurance claim, and I got this Emma. She's texting me at 3 a.m. and she's like, "Please send me your address. Why didn't you call the police?" And I sent you my address 10 times. AI. I get all these aid. They're calling me, imitating. It was just retarded. But that's what AI is, man. It's hell on wheels. And then you got the drone will just zap you or whatever, dude. And then they can erase your entire finances. AI just decided, sorry, you've lost everything.
You need to be more optimistic, Hans.
Yeah, what's your problem, Hans?
Yeah. We need to get you some GHB so you don't have to worry about things anymore.
I thought that's what the blue drink was. I thought that
Right.
GHB. Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, this is super dark, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Epstein's super dark, guys. It gets really freaking dark. It's really horrible.
You got to be drinking GHB to take this information.
Yeah, well, this is right here. I mean, the next paragraph of this thing is GHB.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're down to E. In addition to inviting women and girls to their events directly, the Alexander brothers and others worked with party promoters to arrange for women and girls to attend events or travel with them in order to ensure that there were a sufficient number of women and girls present. On some occasions, after the women and girls accepted the invitations to attend a particular event, the Alexander brothers transported women and girls and caused women and girls to be transported across state and international lines. The defendants and other men attending the trips pooled financial resources in order to pay for flights and other travel expenses for the women and girls. In advance of the events, the Alexander brothers and others procured drugs that they agreed to provide to the women and girls, including, among others, cocaine, mushrooms, and GHB. And just one thing, GHB enhances the other drugs. If you only do a little bit, like I know it's like a science for deadheads or whatever, but like the GHB actually enhances the other drugs. So like if they're doing cocaine and mushrooms, they might even accept willingly to take the GHB because it makes the cocaine work more and do more or whatever. And same for the mushrooms. So, but then they can, like, one little drop will make you have fun, but then like 2 or 3 drops will put you on the floor and you don't move for 12 hours and you feel everything and you're aware, but you can't move your body. I mean, so like the dosage with GHB is like incredible. You gotta know what you're doing with GHB. So I'm just saying that it is used by drug users. It's not just for raping girls. Like, you know, they could be saying, oh yeah, I'm getting GHB just because I'm doing a lot of cocaine and I want to do, you know, whatever. That could be just because they're party guys and, oh, GHB, that's normal for party guys. That I'm just saying. So, but it is totally, it turns off the body. The brain can't communicate with the muscles anymore, and the muscles don't move like with the high dosage, but the brain doesn't go to like, also they don't remember, I think. Maybe that's Rufinol, but the brain is awake and experiencing, but the muscle doesn't move. It's really sick.
Oh, it causes amnesia. I mean, it does cause.
It does cause amnesia.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
question about it. Yeah,
I know the Rufinol does, but anyway,
Rohypnol. Yeah.
Rohypnol, right? That's okay. So anyway, on multiple occasions during these events and trips, the Alexander brothers and others surreptitiously drugged female victims' drinks. Some of the victims experienced symptoms of impaired physical and mental capacity, including limitations of movement and speech, and incomplete memories and events, like you said. And, yeah. So, like, they can't even move their face to, like, say help. It's like being trapped inside. Go ahead.
This prosecution's interesting too because they admit that there are other people involved, so the defendants and other men. So you see this network and also these three guys. They think they're the only ones that were tried and convicted. So what's up with the other people in the network? Much like the Epstein network, which they're part of, in my opinion, part of the Epstein network.
Right. I'm sorry. I just glanced at the comments and go ask Sean or Alice. I'm a deadhead and I've never done GHB. Grant, I've never done GHB either. Okay. So like, I just know about it. It's not to say that I'm somebody who does that.
Go ask it. Go ask Sean when he's 10 feet tall.
Right. Yeah. And then blame Sean when it all goes wrong. Right.
That was I ran a campaign. Everything wrong, I blame Sean. I can blame Sean for my wacky lighting. It's your fault.
It worked for a little while. Yeah.
It worked for me.
Anyway, so GHB is a nightmare for the victims that get a big dose. And, so it's used for bodybuilders to like help their muscle relax, because a lot of times they'll do steroids and then they gotta like make it stop, you know, like, so they even inject, like, it's crazy. But
it's part of your whole, makeup. It's endogenous.
Oh, it's endogenous, right?
Yeah,
yes.
It's produced by the brain,
right,
which makes it harder to trace because there's always trace amounts. So you have to test within like the certain time frame to find something anomalous. And that was kind of one of the biggest things about the first book by Gilbertson and Gannon, which is Case Studies in Forensic Drownings. They really found these high traces of GHB, but they had to really test for it. They really kind of like, it was one of their kind of central kind of impetus, their central kind of focus elements of that book was to try to see how many of these guys were dosed with GHB, and they found a lot of them were dosed with GHB.
Well, that's how you keep a strong male for many days as a victim. You know what I mean? Like, these dudes were athletic and stuff, and that people should look into Williams' research with the smiley face killers. That's SFK he's talking about, if you haven't heard.
But this is like these kind of things are like interesting because they do rhyme with the whole SFK, the pre-planning, the kind of, I'm going somewhere else, I'm traveling to another place. So it seems like these guys are smart, like Epstein. I'm moving from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. And I think that's happening in the smiley face killings too.
Right. Okay.
Do you want to continue reading? I'm going to go make myself a cup of coffee.
Yeah, sure.
I can reach on.
Go ahead. Yeah, take over, bro.
Okay. So H, the Alexander brothers, sometimes acting alone, sometimes with each other, sometimes with other men, forcibly raped or sexually assaulted their victims. At times, defendants physically restrained and held down their victims during the rapes and sexual assaults and ignored screams and requests to stop. 6, the agreement between Elon Alexander, Oren Alexander, and Tal Alexander, those don't sound like normal American names, really, but anyways. The defendants encompassed numerous other acts of sexual violence, in addition to sexual assaults during planned trips and events. On numerous occasions, the Alexander brothers drugged and raped or sexually assaulted female victims they encountered by chance, including women they met at bars, nightclubs, social events, and on dating applications. The Alexander brothers similarly carried out these rapes and sexual assaults by, among other things, drugging and incapacitating victims, taking victims to isolated locations, physically restraining victims while raping and sexually assaulting them alone, together, or with other men, and ignoring victims' explicit demands to stop. So that's pretty. There we are, right?
Yeah, it's like there's no disputing. Oh, she liked it. Like, she wanted it. Like, no, she's screaming and you're holding her down. Right? True monster, right?
Yeah, I guess read the last one. Statutory allegation 7, from at least in or around 2009 up to and including at least to in or about 2021. So it's a pretty long run they had. And it sounds like they're just showing up at nightclubs and grabbing women. And I mean, they are, they're doing it everywhere, right? It's not just they recruit them.
They're probably the norm. I mean, those nightclubs they go to in Miami are probably, that's just, oh, there's the Alexander brothers and there's the Torres brothers and there's the Luigi brothers. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they're all there predating on these poor young girls that are all let in for free, because it's a girl, like get her in the door. And who cares if they're underage and so on, Sorry, keep reading.
Oh, no, sure. In the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, in or affecting interstate and foreign commerce, Elon Alexander, Oren Alexander, and Tal Alexander, the defendants and others known and unknown. That's interesting, right? Maybe Mr. Trump? No.
Right. Yeah, maybe Mr. Epstein. Yeah.
Yeah. Knowingly agreed to combine, conspire. See, conspiracy is an actual legal term. It's not a theory. Conspire, right? So it means, yeah. So it's anyways, conspiracy theory.
Breathe together.
Yep. So confederate and agree to recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, advertise, maintain, patronize, and solicit by any means persons, and to benefit financially and by receiving anything of value from participation in an event which has engaged in such act, knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that the means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion, as described in Title 18. Okay, then William's not here to change the page. I guess we could look at the other document.
I got it here.
Yeah, I got it too.
You got it. Okay.
I'm back. I just moved it forward.
Yeah. So
we're down to the next page.
Next page after that. Okay.
Yeah.
So is this
allegations? He's doing the statutory allegations.
One thing that was fascinating me. So they're not just recruiting; they're just going into random locations and kidnapping, raping women. I mean, they're doing, and they have lots of people or a number of people involved in it. So it's quite, it seems
wolves.
Quite extensive.
Yeah.
So any other means would cause the persons to engage in commercial sex acts in violation of Title 18. So they're also trafficking the women, right? United States Code, Section 19.5A. 1 and B1, to wit, Alan Alexander, Oren Alexander, and Tal Alexander, and others known and unknown, agreed to recruit, entice, harbor, provide, obtain, advertise, maintain, patronize, and solicit female victims, including but not limited to victim 1, victim 2, minor victim 3, victim 4, victim 5, and victim 6. I don't know if we want to keep reading that, but it sounds like fraud, coercion, pimping, so pretty intense. I don't know if you guys want to go through all the documentation, but it looks like, they're really, there's other people involved, right? They are part of some type of network, and they did it for almost more than a decade without getting touched.
Right. Wait till you see the FBI doc. They said they started it in high school. Like, some people were making allegations that these guys were doing it for 20 years. Can you believe it? Crazy. It's just what this document says. Another document says something different.
Should we continue
Yeah.
reading? Okay.
If you want to read or whatever, we can just. This is a long doc. We can see the counts are 9 counts. They're going to forfeit stuff, substitute assets, and this is from May 8th, 2025. If you want, we can pass through it or read the rest of the counts. It's really up to you guys. What do you guys want to do?
I think we could pass through and move on
Okay.
to something else. But I think we got the gist of it. But again, I mean, this is part of this behavior, right? And again, just to not only recruiting, but just going to a coffee shop and picking up a girl and raping her. I mean, they're really, and they're getting away with it for a long time. You think you do that once? I mean, it's not that hard to find out. You're in a public place. They have security cameras. You have multiple people in that public venue, and these are people taken forcibly, not those that they recruited. People are drugged, taken forcibly. Very easy to trace that, especially when you do it all the time. So you kind of surprising that it took so long for them even to get tapped.
There's probably bartenders too that work with these people that help, spike the drinks on purpose, like specific drink or whatever. But let's get into meat and potatoes, William. You want to get into
let's get to, we're almost done. I think the interesting thing is that in this NTOC, there's something about the Alexander brothers from August. So this earlier doc was from May 2025. But then if you go to slide 34 or of this, there's an intake thing about the Alexander brothers and Epstein. And it doesn't seem to be that it was ever acted upon for 5 years or something. So who knows how many victims there were after this came in. And the date is very telling. It's 2 days before Epstein was found dead in jail. Let me see if I can get this thing on. It's this right here. Does anybody feel like reading this or trying to get through? It's partially redacted. But my point of this whole exercise on the Alexander brothers, it shows that there's enough to get them convicted. I think it was a federal criminal trial, but there was something that came in to the FBI in August of 2019 that, to my understanding, was never acted upon. Either of you guys feel like reading it? Do you want me to read it? Anybody volunteers?
I can do.
Okay.
I'm always volunteering.
If you want.
Yeah. So this is date time received 8/8/2019. Details on blank Eastern time, protected identity. Called the FBI National Threat Operations Center, NTOC, to report being sexually abused by Jeffrey Epstein and other powerful men in New York. Blank provided the following information. She was modeling in 2015 at the age of redacted when she met Epstein. She attended blank parties at Epstein's residence in New York. During one of blank, once Epstein asked blank to take off her panties. When she didn't comply, he said, "It's fine. I'll pay you $500. Blank complied because she thought he was a very important person. In 2016, Epstein slid his fingers up her dress and fingered her. At one of the parties, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin, who were involved in real estate, lured blank and her friend blank upstairs and locked the door. Blank knocked the door back open, and the 2 ran back downstairs. Blank stated Orrin raped blank, and Orrin's brother Tal raped a 14-year-old girl named redacted. Tried to slit her wrist after the incident. The redacted victim tried to slit her wrists after the incident. Blank also met 3 women in the parlor room of Epstein's home. One woman she recognized as Epstein's British socialite, the woman who would find young girls to have sex with Epstein. Epstein liked younger girls that were clean-shaven with small breasts. Blank also went to his St. Thomas Island, which he referred to as St. Jeffrey, Epstein and other powerful men, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, would have big orgy parties with her, other young girls, and older Victoria's Secret models. So
That was a nice Freudian slip there, Sean.
Big gay
It
orgies.
was Trump and Clinton together, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm glad that was recorded. But okay, so like, and the Victoria's Secret models relate to Epstein's Wexner guy. Wexner owned Victoria's Secret.
Mega group and that whole massive, powerful crime family and crime network that's running off of that. Because Wexner is really a capo of this, like Bronfman crime. I mean, really powerful crime syndicates. And I probably mentioned this. I live here in Columbus, and I know personally one guy who got hit. He got killed. I mean, maybe he didn't get killed by Wexner, but he spilled wine on Wexner's wife. He was a server. Another guy, his lawyer, got killed, thrown in a ditch, and et cetera. So I mean, I know a couple other incidents I won't mention. So they knock people off, and they whatever facade they pay on. You have like Wexner Medical Center. Of course, I'm trying to do some shows there, Wexner Center for the Arts. May have to redact this, but you have to have the hospital. Everything is Wexner, man. Everything, and they're immensely, immensely powerful. And the limited is just the tip of the iceberg. You don't know the limit and extent of these people's power, which is immense.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, they're owning most of Ohio now. They're buying more of it. Okay, so blank was offered to be paid off by a lawyer associated with the Epstein case. Blank is friends with blank, and the lawyer blank. That's when the lawyer offered to pay a couple grand to silence her. She is terrified that they might put out a hit on her, and they know where she lives. She had contact with Epstein from 2015 to 2019. Last contact was blank ago. She was also contacted by one of Epstein's clientels, blank before his arrest, asking her to meet up with Epstein. Blank can be contacted on her cellular telephone for questioning. Note, a LexisNexis query for blank revealed information, address, social security number. A LexisNexis query for blank,
So they actually did like follow up LexisNexis to figure out who this person was, I guess. Right. But it is interesting. This is just something that shows that they didn't follow up on this. And there's big names in here, but Orrin and Alan or Tal or whatever were mentioned by name, or all three of them, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and raping a 14-year-old, that's statutory rape. That's an easy one to call, like an easy criminal act to call. Like that's.
But there's not going to be any new prosecutions. All done with the Epstein files, guys. Case closed. Remember? Isn't that what they said?
Sure did. Blanche, who's now the acting attorney general. He's doing better work than Bondi. So Bondi did her work, and they used her like toilet paper and got rid of her, man. Probably NDA on the way out.
Isn't she going to be testifying? And aren't they going to do?
I think they're asking her to say something in front of Congress. They should ask her about all these intake files. Did she see them in 302s? Like, that's part of what's on her desk. So she had to have seen crime after crime after crime after crime after crime, ad nauseum, ad infinitum, I should say, actually.
Should we talk about the 302s first, or do you want to bring?
Well, I mean,
what do you prefer?
Well, we can go into the 302s. I just did all the intake stuff. Like we're
only intake. We'll do 302s next week. Okay.
Whatever we can do. I mean, I kind of just picked out the worst, but like these are all intake, and then the 302s will follow up on some of the stuff that's in here.
Right. Okay.
But there's no like prosecutorial evidence of any of these people being prosecuted, just like you said.
Right.
But here's the other thing is like we just like one of the, I think it was Diana said from the chat, Trump, pardon, they're asking for a pardon because they're part of the network. They were just mentioned in this intake thing with Trump. And then you can go to this one, like this is December 11th, 2024. Alon, Alexander, Orrin, Alexander, Alexander arrested earlier today. So they were arrested in December 11th, 2024, and then convicted in 2025. But like decades, they say, taken to custody as a legend. For approximately 2 decades, the Alexander brothers have sexually assaulted, trafficked, and forcibly raped dozens of women. After relying on their substantial wealth and connections to carry out and conceal their crimes for years, all 3 defendants now face charges carrying potential sentences of prison for 15 years to life. They haven't been sentenced yet. But 2 decades, right? That's what he said. 2 decades. So that started in 2005.
And these guys aren't Bill Clinton, so they can throw them away. You know what I mean? Like they can actually lock up these dudes.
I mean, I don't know if you want to go over some of the stuff as repeated, but it's like you go through the scheme, how the scheme worked.
Yeah, this is
It's
interesting.
like Blink twice. Right.
Yeah, I can read this.
Okay.
Okay. So the Alexander Brothers sex trafficking scheme. The charged offenses span more than a decade of sex trafficking activity by the Alexander brothers. However, evidence from the government's investigation goes well beyond the conduct charged and shows that for more than 20 years, the Alexander brothers have, together and alone, repeatedly and violently raped and sexually assaulted dozens of victims. To date, law enforcement agents have interviewed dozens of women who reported being forcibly raped or sexually assaulted by at least one of the Alexander brothers, often after being drugged. This criminal activity spanned many years, both before and after Tal and Orrin Alexander rose to prominence in real estate. First at a well-known international brokerage based in New York, and then at their own firm. Evidence from the investigation, including multiple victims and witness accounts, shows that the Alexander brothers began engaging in acts of sexual violence, including gang rapes, while still in high school in Miami, Florida. So that's there you go.
It started young. Yeah.
And the footnote says Alan and Orrin Alexander turned 18 on July 2nd, 2005, while Tal turned 18 on July 5th, 2004, shortly after each graduated from high school. The government has also interviewed multiple women who report being raped by at least one of the Alexander brothers in high school in the early 2000s, including victims who were raped by gangs of boys, including the Alexander brothers. Several of these victims were given alcohol by one of the defendants or other individuals who participated in the sexual assaults. Each of the victims that the government has interviewed from this period report hearing that individuals involved, including Tal Alexander, talked about the assaults at school, boasting about running train on their victims and saying they want to do it again. Footnote 4, as publicly reported, Orrin bragged about doing so in his high school yearbook, writing that riding my first choo-choo train was his most memorable moment from high school. And then it says, everyone knew about the A-Team, New York Magazine. Running train is a term used to a group of males having sex with the same female, one after another. He's talking about gang rapes in his high school yearbook, and then they managed to rise to prominence in real estate. I mean, this is a little, he's putting it in his yearbook. This
guy's a winner. I want him at my company selling houses.
Think, people, I don't know if it's so bad now, but I know guys who had their whole life ruined because some girl just said, "Oh, he inappropriately touched me," because they broke up or whatever. They weren't raped. They just decided to, I'm not, obviously rape happens, but I'm saying that guys, just one woman says, no, even if he didn't, he kissed me, he did this, just vindictively, right? Whatever reason, destroyed the person's life. These guys are there just drugging and raping with impunity. That's pretty amazing, actually.
Well, they still got impunity when Trump's in office, right? Maybe Trump will pardon them. Yeah.
You can
Anyway,
read the next page. You want to read? I'll let you read.
yeah, sure. Where are we at here? Okay. What page are we on? Actually, which
It's
page is
slide
that?
39 in my PDF,
39 in the PDF. Okay.
and at least on my PDF.
Okay, it's page 3. As adults, the Alexander brothers' serial sexual violence only escalated. After the defendants graduated from college, all 3 defendants moved to New York City. Although they continued to also maintain homes in Miami and split their time between the 2 cities, Orrin and Tal began working as real estate agents at a prominent New York City-based real estate company. Alon attended New York Law School, then worked at Kent Security, a private security company run by his mother and uncle.
That's a hard school to get into. That's a first-tier law school, maybe a top 10 one.
Right.
So this is like, how did he get in? And
Are they rich to begin with?
yeah, I think they're rich. I think they are.
Okay, yeah. During this period, and at all times relevant to the indictment, the Alexander brothers engaged in a persistent pattern of sex trafficking and sexual assault. It's not like they're going to turn over a new leaf. Like, what the hell? This conduct included both pre-planned trips and events for which the defendants recruited women to attend and then raped and sexually assaulted them, as well as the opportunistic rapes and sexual assaults of numerous victims who they encountered by chance. For the planned encounters, the Alexander brothers lured women to various locations with the promise of material benefits such as travel luxury accommodations, events or parties in various locations, including the Hamptons, Tulum, and Miami. In many cases, the Alexander brothers arranged travel for the women, purchasing flights or arranging other transportation to their vacation destinations. The Alexander brothers also promised and provided accommodations for the women at high-end hotels or luxury vacation rentals. At times, the Alexander brothers worked with party promoters to arrange to have women attend parties at their vacation properties. On many occasions, the Alexander brothers invited their friends and Orrin and Tal's real estate clients to also stay at these properties. Then, during these trips and events, the Alexander brothers, alone, together, and with others, drugged and forcibly raped or sexually assaulted their victims. Some victims reported symptoms consistent with being drugged after consuming a drink provided by one of the defendants. Several were unable to move or even speak, and some suffered significant gaps in their memories.
It's blink twice.
Literally. And can you imagine they're trying to sell some rich property to a guy, and they invite him, oh, come to this special party, and then you can rape these girls. Now will you buy this house? I mean, think of the
Isn't that a form of blackmail? Like, okay, we've got you involved in a criminal act. You better go through with the deal, right?
Good point. Yeah, if they can, yeah, right.
If they're filming it, if they're Epsteining it, right?
Of course. I mean, I'm sure all these rich houses have internal cameras everywhere.
If there's all that pre-planning and foreknowledge, these aren't like, acts of the moment or whatever, crimes of passion, or I mean, I guess you could term it that.
Well,
But
just the other ones were the by chance happened upon some random girl where he just rapes them too. So those did happen. But anyway, these ones that you're talking about with these planned parties are definitely set up for this.
set up for something. There's others involved. It's not just these 3. So they do this to all this trafficking stuff, is like just blame these 3 guys in public or whatever, or Epstein in public. But like it seems like it's a network to me,
right?
But they're consistently looks like all their victims are drugging them, right? And again, I mean, if you go further in this, it does say that they have ties to Israel, right? They have financial connections. Their parents are from Israel, further down. But I mean, they literally. I mean, again, I am shocked that like again that like that if you look at someone cross-eyed, if you're teaching a class, she can claim sexual assault or whatever. I mean, again, but you look at these guys just right. I mean, he's talking about gang rape in the friggin' yearbook, and they just go on to make this
Two
shows.
decades.
This is insane. I mean, if you'll how many people they raped in high school? I mean, why nothing happened? It was shut up from the beginning. This shows this endemic nature of this system, right? If certain people, whatever, you can do whatever the heck you want. You get the free pass.
Just, I mean, this is what society, like, the jocks, they get rewarded for their behavior, and they grow up to be leaders of good, join the Freemasons. Like, who knows what they grow up to be winners, right? And meanwhile, the nerds are all like playing video games now. And yeah, but really, like, the way that I'm sorry, William, go ahead.
Just gonna say, that culture of impunity, they must have thought they would never go to jail for this stuff,
Right.
Like, it's just wild for starting that young too. Like,
I have a friend that will not be named because he'd probably be ashamed if everybody knew, but he was bullied by John Cena. They were at the same high school, and John Cena had his like entourage that would like come down the hallway, and like my buddy would like move aside, and his friends would like yell, blah blah blah, touch his pec. Like, what? Like, leave me alone, I'm trying to get to class. Like, they would yell it, and so like John Cena's ego was like formed and created all the way back then, and then he grows up to be a bully. Like, he WWE, to beat people up is a fucking job, and like, and it like he gets to be put in movies where like they put a beer bong in his butt, and now he wears a dress in public, and now they got all this other stuff going. Like, John Cena is a victim, in my opinion. I think that, but they used that type of mentality there, the real estate, like high-end New York real estate, needs people like those rapists that are going to be high on cocaine all the time, that are always predators, like they're looking for that type of psychology. So, no wonder they were found in high school. Like, that's what they were famous for, the A team, for raping chicks. Yeah. Like, wow.
But I mean, bear in mind, you have kids getting expelled for using the wrong pronoun, or refusing to go through, seriously, a politically incorrect statement. I mean, and they have extremely draconian enforcement of just very silly protocols, and you got, transgender dudes in the girls' locker room. I mean, one girl got raped, by a transgender guy. I mean, actually multiple.
Wasn't just one, yeah, right.
Yeah. But I'm saying that, like, people get expelled, all, just for whatever non-PC language, or just small things, or, and they get expelled and sometimes even arrested, right? And then these guys, and probably others like them, are, and what does that do? That kind of a trauma, even if you don't remember it, you're damaging someone severely psychically. And that gang rape thing is really something that is, to me, is really, it's truly evil. And it, and I hate to bring this up, it's disgusting, but you have, like, I think we talked personally, like that gangbang thing. I mean, this is like the ultimate, this shows such a degradation of society. And it sort of makes this
about Bonnie Blue.
Yeah. I mean, but it makes this okay, kind of, in the public mind. But that's kind of that gradual introduction. And again, I mean, I go through so many cases of how small things, someone wearing a T-shirt that someone doesn't like, they get expelled. Right. You know what I mean? Seriously. And these things, or they just come down on the kids and just, but then these guys, just go for it. And then here, we're going to come check out my new building. Here, we're going to have a little gang rape here before we look at before I show you the kitchen. Let's rape this girl that I just drugged. I mean, they're doing this. I mean, God, shocked by this impunity, man. It's amazing.
Crazy. Do you want to, isn't there one more paragraph in this page? Is that-
Yeah, I think so.
It's the Alexander brothers. Do you want to read some of
Yeah,
it?
I'll finish it. Right. The Alexander brothers used a similar playbook to commit rapes and sexual assaults after chance encounters with women at nightclubs, parties, or other social events. After the initial meeting, the defendants lured the women to a second location. That's never go to the second location, ladies. Okay. And then forcibly raped her. Each of the defendants did this separately and on some occasions with the assistance of or together with another defendant. On some occasions, one of the defendants would meet a woman on a dating application or on social media, and under the guise of exploring a potential relationship, invite the woman to his apartment before forcibly raping her. In most instances, victims reported that one of the defendants gave them a drink, either at the club or social event or back at the defendant's shared apartment in New York City. After imbibing the drink, the victim experienced symptoms consistent with being unwittingly dosed with a substance that impaired their physical capacity, including their ability to move and or memories. Many victims told the brothers no, or even screamed while the rapes were happening. But on each occasion, the defendants ignored any verbal resistance. The government has spoken to dozens of women who reported being similarly raped by one or more of the Alexander brothers between 2005 and 2021.
Well, you said they were 18 in 2005. So then if they were doing it in high school, it was before that. I mean, what happened between the NTOC document came in? This is telling. The NTOC document came into the FBI, we know, in August of 2019. And this document shows us that the rapes went on to 2021. So there's at least 2 years that we know that the stuff continued between the time that the FBI got the information and the time that they were interviewing the victims, right?
So because the FBI didn't do their job, 2 years worth of victims got abused.
Precisely.
Okay. Just want that on the record, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, this is what they're telling. This is their documents. This is not me.
Right. Yeah, right.
Do you guys want to tell
themselves,
these
yeah.
victim stories are interesting. I think they're informative. So women, and I mean, even men, like if you're like a SFK victim, this is probably how it happens too. It's some kind of invite, or you want to come to a great party, or you want to do whatever.
These apps on the phone, man, that is a predator playground.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like Roblox for the kids and like, Tinder for or whatever they are these days, but they probably got a handful of different ones for, this one is for if you like to be, financially dominated, or this one is for like if you like paddles and wear leather, you know what I mean? Like it's all like, and those, like fet club and whatever, like fetish. Yeah. These people like, it's like a lure to, you know what I mean? They're fishing for people that are perfect victims. Like like a Miami club on a Saturday night, like I'm sure the place is crawling with wolves that all have GHB in their pocket.
I think you're right.
Yeah, but
I think that's what these guys are. Wolves. They're hunting. They're like predatory, man. It's really crazy.
Right. They can't stop. It's part of them. Right.
But that's like the first case I ever looked into was Columbus, Ohio. It was Joey LaBute, who was like at a gay bar, or associated with a gay bar across the street or something like that. He was gay, but he's on one of these apps. Like he was last seen like chatting with some rando on an app, and then he just fully disappeared, found in the Scioto River 19 days later. That was my first case, 2016. It's been 10 years.
Wow.
Which where I followed the victim from the disappearance to his death in water. Like he fit all the parameters for an SFK victim, and then ended up in the water 19 days later. Previously searched area, obviously.
There's still happening. There's more. I mean, it's still going. Like, it's not just, it started with and you're seeing, there was that other last year, the Riley, the dude in Nashville. Yeah. So that keeps going. Like,
oh yeah, there's like the Rainy Street Rippers, what they call it in Austin, Texas. It just happens in Chicago, and recent cases now.
Right. Lady Bird Lake is the one in Texas, right? Yeah,
correct. There's one in Barcelona, same kind of thing, what weird stuff. Acting strange, that's what happens when you get drugged. Like, if your friend starts acting strange, like, time to go home. Like, whatever, are you a girl or a guy? And like, she's really acting really different. It's probably because she got drugged or he got drugged. Because there's one kid out of Austin where, like, he was a teetotaler. Like, he would be the guy who went out and only drank one beer, and then his brother's like, man, you're acting really weird, because he probably got drugged and targeted, and then he ended up being a victim. Like, he would be the opposite person you would think would drown, like a healthy guy who, like, got up in the morning at 7 to work out, like, not a dude who would just, like, choke on water or whatever. I think we should read these stories. They're interesting. They're like, it just shows their text and their you guys mentioned foreign ties, defendants' wealth and foreign ties. We can get to that. This is just a couple pages. Does anybody want to read these sex trafficking victims, or should I, or what?
You can go ahead, but I just want to mention one thing too. You have FBI. How many police complaints have been there? How many complaints to school? How many? Probably hundreds of complaints from family, from this, that, from, rumors, innuendos, guidance counselors, all the police. It's not just the FBI, right? I guarantee this has been reported to the police at least probably dozens of times, or even on suspicion, right? So finally get to the FBI doesn't mean that it wasn't being, whatever, presented to various other legal authorities. Would you agree with that? I mean, obviously the police completely ignored it. And it's not like, oh, those guys again. I mean, these are not real hard investigations to do. Just go and catch them probably any night of the week. You can find them drugging and raping someone. It looks like, I mean, it's pretty much what they do, I mean,
I bet there's dozens more than even they talk to of this case, just like Epstein, just like these other things, maybe even Cosby, or, people who've been, Cosby was active for like 40 years. So, yeah, I think that you're right. I think if you're multi-jurisdiction, and same thing with Epstein, like, they didn't know. I remember when the Epstein story kind of broke in 2018, they were just talking about Miami, like, oh, this guy has a place in Miami. They didn't understand that. Like, they almost didn't even reach into Zorro that much. But now you realize this guy was a walking criminal enterprise, man. He was committing crimes on a plane, in New York, in Miami, in New Mexico, at Little St. James. Like, he was just like that. So these guys might have figured out the multi-jurisdictional kind of trick to stymie police investigations. All right, sex trafficking victim 1, count 2. In or around the summer of 2011, a friend invited victim 1 to travel to the Hamptons to stay with her friends. Victim 1 accepted the invitation. She was living in Manhattan at the time and traveled by Long Island Railroad from Penn Station to the Hamptons. That's like out in Long Island, right? Eastern Long Island. Tal Alexander and another man were waiting for victim 1 and her friend at the train station and drove the women to their vacation house. Victim 1 had never met Tal Alexander before. After arriving at the house, victim 1 was given a glass of wine and drank about half of it before she began to feel unwell in a way inconsistent with drinking that amount. Victim 1's memory thereafter became hazy, but she had several distinct memories of the night. Specifically, victim 1 remembers being held down by Tal while another man entered the room. Victim 1 also remembers being in a second location with Tal and the other man, and that a camcorder was set up. Victim 1's next memory is of waking up in the grass outside the vacation house with a physical sensation indicating recent vaginal penetration. Sex trafficking victim 2, count 3. In or around August 2016, victim 2 and her friend, individual 1, matched with Elon and Oren Alexander on a dating app. Victim 2 primarily communicated with Oren, while individual 1 primarily communicated with Elon. Elon and Oren invited victim 2 and individual 1, who were located in Illinois, to travel to stay with him in the Hamptons over Labor Day weekend and offered to pay for flights for victim 2 and individual 1. Individual 1 and victim 2 agreed to go, and on September 1st, 2016, the Alexander brothers purchased early morning flights for the women to fly to New York on the following day. Messages located in Orrin's iCloud account reflect the Alexander brothers exchanging messages about purchasing flights for victim 1, victim 2, and victim individual 1. Around the time the Alexander brothers were booking the tickets on September 1st, 2016. Elon, are we booking flights? First 3 on left. Elon, we split and tried to orgy them then out. Tal, for sure. Tal, last weekend. Tal, throw it up. Elon, I agree. Orrin, all 4, why not? A few days prior, Tal exchanged messages with 2 party promoters on a group chat entitled Hampton's Hot Chicks, arranging for hot women to stay at the Alexander brothers' Hamptons house that same weekend. At the end of the exchange, one of the promoters said, quote, I want photos of the girls naked, unquote. Tal responded, quote, LOL, guys, we're going to have a lot of fun, unquote. After victim 2 and individual 1 arrived in New York, the Alexander brothers transported the women to their Hamptons house by car and provided them with beds in a space shared with other women. The following day, the Alexander brothers hosted a party. During the party, Orrin gave victim 2 a cocktail, and shortly thereafter, victim 2 began feeling strange and struggled to walk. Elon assisted victim 2 inside the house and took her to a bedroom to lie down. Sometime later, victim 2 woke up when Orrin entered the room. Orrin put on a condom, pulled down victim 2's bathing suit, and climbed on top of her. Victim 2 was physically impaired and could not move. She also struggled to speak. Orrin raped victim 2 and left the room, leaving her lying on the bed. When victim 2 woke up the next morning, she was still lying on the bed, and her bathing suit was pulled down around her legs. Victim 2 disclosed the rape to individual 1, and they left the Alexander brothers' house that same day. Other evidence of sex trafficking and transportation for illegal sexual activity. The evidence in this case also establishes that the defendants planned and paid for trips involving the interstate and international transportation of women on multiple other occasions. This evidence includes electronic communications, including from the defendants' own accounts. In one example from October 2016, just weeks after the Alexander brothers sex trafficked and raped victim 2, they, along with a number of other individuals, arranged to transport multiple women to Tulum. In a group WhatsApp chat entitled Lions in Tulum, the Alexander brothers and other men attending the trip discussed imports of women to Tulum for the upcoming trip and discussed, among other things, splitting the cost of lodging and flights for the women that they plan to import and providing drugs to the women that would make them more likely to engage in sex, including coke, shrooms, and G. Based on the investigation, the government understands G to be a reference to GHB, which is defined in 21 U.S.C. 841 as a date rape drug. Below are select messages from that chat. October 3rd, 2016. Mail 1. Going to start collecting for the pot to fly bitches down. Elon. There should be a fee per bang and after bang. Mail 1. Starting to collect Venmo for girls' flights. Orrin. Oh yeah. What's the lineup? Need to pick winners. Orrin. Can't be sponsor girls like ISIS. Mail 1. LOL. It's going to be hard to get girls up to your standard. Orrin. Just warn him your boys are hungry. Tal. Girls look fresh. October 4th, 2016. Elon. I think we should all bring chicks and not rely only on promoters since we never met the girls. We need fun girls with good attitude. I'm sure we all met many recently this summer. Mail 2. I know you know some winners. Elon. Hail Mary Pass should be overload. Elon. I say yes, chip in and bring others. Mail 1. I don't want anyone being upset if they don't run a 10-man train. Elon. I'm trying to cover all bases. Mail 1. I just need to handle drugs. Tal. Yes. Mail 1. I don't want X around too much. Nothing gets done with that. Mail 1. Coke, shrooms, and G. Mail 1. X makes the girls want to chase the fucking party. October 13th, 2016. Tal. Photographers, drugs. Mail 1. All getting worked on. Orrin. Are all girls getting shipped out on Sunday? Mail 1. Yeah. Mail 1. Feel free to extend a piece you like. Elon, nut returns end of trip. Oren, just trying to make sure I get max returns. Was going to come for that Sunday night tax and make sure all girls make quota. Mail 1, LOL, the whole $500 on a flight? Oren, no free rides under my watch. Oren, that's more than most of us ever spend on girls. Just want to make sure we get a good ROI, return on investment. Defendants' efforts to conceal their criminal conduct. Despite engaging in the offense conduct and other acts of sexual violence for decades until earlier this year, the defendants' conduct went largely unchecked. Indeed, the Alexander brothers knew that it was critical to ensure that none of their victims went public. For example, in January 2021, Oren and Tal Alexander had the following exchange. Oren, start to think about reputation you want out there. We are on top of the game, and only thing can bring us down is some hoe complaining. Tal, understood. Did someone complain? Even when the victims did complain, the defendants took steps to stop victims from reporting. The government is aware, for instance, of at least one occasion in which Tal and Oren filed a police report alleging harassment against a woman who was described being forcibly digitally penetrated by Tal while Oren was in the room. Tal also threatened that victim with a defamation lawsuit if she did not stop telling people that he and Oren had sexually assaulted her. And at least one other victim reported that Tal made threatening statements to her after she told other people that he drugged her. There you go, Hans. In March 2024, multiple lawsuits alleging sexual misconduct and assault against the Alexander brothers were publicly reported, so there were civil suits. I haven't seen those. In response to the public accusations, Elon Alexander began compiling files on each publicly identified victim and several who had not made public accusations as part of an apparent attempt to discredit their accusers. The government's investigation of the defendant's obstructive conduct is ongoing. Interesting. B, the defendant's wealth and foreign ties. The defendants each have access to significant financial resources. Oren and Tal Alexander are real estate agents who focus on ultra-luxury markets in Miami and New York City. In the early 2010s, Oren and Tal founded the Alexander team at their former brokerage. The Alexander team was responsible for securing significant brokered deals, including a nearly $240 million sale of a penthouse in 2019, which at the time was the most expensive residential sale in United States history. Shortly after the historic deal and associated historic brokerage fee, Oren and Tal opened their own ultra-luxury real estate firm. As recently as May 2024, that firm was involved in brokering a $14.3 million deal in Bay Harbor. All three defendants reside in high-value properties in Miami Beach and New York. Since about 2019, Tal Alexander has rented an apartment in a building that is part of Billionaires Row, a term referring to ultra-luxury skyscrapers near Manhattan Central Park. That's probably close to Epstein, which is on 71st Street, next to Central Park. Elon and Oren Alexander's properties in Miami Beach have direct water access and private docks. The defendant's family also has significant foreign ties, particularly to Israel. Their parents are from Israel, and the Alexander brothers frequently travel to Israel to visit family, conduct business, and for vacation. They also travel frequently outside the United States to other locations, often booking flights at the last minute or traveling by private jet or yacht.
It's always the Jews, man. Every time.
Jews and rape. Have you ever seen like the people around Netanyahu that like they've all been accused of rape or like convicted of rape? It's crazy.
Probably. I mean, they do that for part of their warfare. I mean, that's one of their weapons of war.
They had a pro-rape protest in New York City, right? Because there were people complaining about the raping of prisoners and whatever, and there was a protest in favor of rape as a military tactic just recently. There you go, man. All right, I didn't make it up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Alan Dershowitz. Don't come down on me.
Oh, man.
Netanyahu, leave me alone, man. I love you guys. No,
morality is like so gone. I mean, like
it's like not even comprehensible. It's like amorality in your face. Like, whoa, like you wouldn't even do this. Like, I don't know if you guys want to read anything else on this. I mean, there's applicable law. There's dangerousness. They say that they're dangerous.
Well, that's understandable.
And so then I think that the risk of flight, I don't think they got bail. I don't think they were granted bail. I'm not sure.
Waiting on their Trumpy bear to get
yeah,
the
they're
Trump.
waiting on Trump there. Get their American flag, cozy up tight with their.
And then they'll get to bail.
Yeah.
As set forth above,
If they
Elon
find
Orr
the secret zipper, maybe. Never.
Whenever I drug and forcibly rape women, I have my Trumpy bear. I cover myself in the American flag. Okay.
all three pose an ongoing and significant danger to the community and present a serious risk of flight. The government respectfully submits that the defendants cannot meet their burden of overcoming the statutory presumption in favor of detention. There are no conditions of bail that would assure the appearance and compliance of the defendants. Accordingly, any application for bail should be denied. I don't know what happened to them.
Diana says recent conviction March, I think.
They got convicted, that's right, but they haven't been sentenced.
Oh, right.
So conviction is the process where they're guilty, like they found enough evidence to convict them. Yeah, that is something else. So there's like another like tie to the Epstein network in the NTOC and convicted. They actually did it, but like they're like we mentioned earlier, Sean, there were 2 years from the information going to the FBI that they were actually, possibly there were victims up until 2021, according to this document. Which is in this document comes out of
they're not going to stop, I mean, they're not just going to be like, oh, I was a wolf yesterday. Today I'm a sheep, that doesn't happen.
Did it for 20 years.
Right.
So it's in the high school yearbook. Most likely to succeed.
Right. They should have like a most likely to rape you on a drug, like a date rape drug.
Wow. I mean, that's a little bit too much truth. I'm at slide 49. This is an interesting one that came in. Like people like, oh, these are all dusty and old like complaints. This is from October 2024. This is fairly recent.
Which page of your PDF?
It's 49. It'll be
49.
slide 49.
Okay.
We're at the 2 hour mark too, guys. I don't know how much stamina you got.
I got time. I don't know if you guys, but I'm good.
Okay. Hans, what are you thinking? You're muted. Keep going. Keep reading.
Yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily have to do the 3 hour marathon, but that was pretty heavy actually. That I'm a little bit disturbed by reading about the Alexander brothers.
The A team. They even named their business the A team.
A-team.
That's what that was their nickname in high school for raping chicks is the A team. Oh, okay. That should be
Alexander brother A team. But I mean, it seems like, I think we talked about this, but it seems like it was part of a larger network. There's others involved.
Right.
So those are just the ones like the girls remembers these guys. Like, what the hell is going on? Like,
right.
This is like favors or something like trafficking, real trafficking.
Yeah, there's implications they're providing them for people and this and that. And of course, the other people aren't named. And so they must have some degree of power influence not to be named in the case, I would assume.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so the cover-ups continue. We can drop it right here, too. We can pick it up. We've got another 150 pages on my PDF. So we don't have to rush through. Well, anybody have any questions in the chat?
William, yeah, let's do that. Yeah. If you wanted to cut it, it's your call.
I'm totally. I mean, it's 8:15 my time. It's like almost 12. You guys lay it past 11. Yeah.
I'm a big boy. I can stand it. But it's up to you, man. It's all good. But if we do have some questions, I think.
Yeah, anybody have any questions? There's 250 people in the chat.
Wow. That's great.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Impressed. Thank you everybody for being here. That's great.
Hogwarts hands cracks me up. We need a Trumpy beer commercial. We'll bring it back next week.
Yeah. We can't overdo it, guys.
No way.
Can't oversaturate the market. Yeah.
Rise to Liberty's in the house. People go check out his work on MK Ultra. Good stuff.
Oh,
I forgot who we had. He was talking to somebody recently about MK Ultra. Who was it? Wally Tang, great show, gents. You're doing God's work. Thank you. Thanks, John. Blues Traveler. Go Bill Go. Let's see.
Good to see the familiar faces in the chat. It's nice.
We're getting a lot of repeat like people who are interested in this,
Right.
which is cool. You know, they're like
Yes.
following us, guys. We have started this before Charlie Kirk got shot.
Right.
So, oh yeah, it was the Satanic Panic. I listened to that Rise to Liberty. I listened to 3 hours of you and Austin talking about Satanic Panic. So, if you want to have a great overview of the Satanic Panic thing, go to the Rise to Liberty podcast.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Is he's not debunking it and saying it's not
No.
fake, right? Or it's not real, right?
He's saying that it's it's like SRA is real.
It's legit, right?
Yeah,
Good.
they're
That's
just
good.
covering.
I'm glad he's on the side of truth. That's good, because a lot of people like that. Jordan Peterson had Anton LaVey's daughter on, and she was promoting books that say SRA is fake. She says it's all just fake. It's not just a new it's a more satanic panic. And he's like, oh yes, of course it's fake. And so they're out there again. They're still trying to push the gaslighting, because there's more disclosures all the time. Now the internet and podcasts, like, look at the imagination. It's like every one of her guests is, it's endless.
Is a victim, right?
Yes, dude. And it's like she's been going for years now. And it's many of them are repeats, but still repeat guests. But still, it's like, holy crap. And they're all the same. It's all the same. So, yeah, people should really, if they don't know, they should know that satanic ritual abuse is real. And it's a government operation. And it's mind control. It's Grok the Clown. It's the same shit we were talking about Manchurian Candidate way back when, it is that it's the hardcore mind control, and it takes the sexual abuse and the running train. Like, when that's what they did to people that I know that have told me their stories, and it just happened to be guys in military uniforms, but they were like young dudes. And there was a video camera set up, and she was made to be held down. And, this happened one after another, all on camera. It's like a conveyor belt of blackmail, you know what I mean? And these are young guys just getting into the military and like, okay, she's a 10-year-old girl. Okay. Like on camera. Sure. Like it's sick what they have to do, and I'm sure like the networks that run the SRA, it is high occult dark orders that are ancient, and these kids are probably children of people that are in the club, and that's why nothing happened in high school. That's why nothing happened for 20 years after high school, because I'll just get my daddy to take care of it, or whatever, you know what I mean? And just by saying Israel, like, it's bankers that created Israel. It's the Rothschilds created Israel. Look at like 1870s, like where it started was bankers wanted to have a country of their own so they could take over the world, and it's happening. So like they're Jews, okay, whatever. They're not religious, you know what I mean? They're bankers, Satanists that want power, Anyway, I'm rambling now. I'm sorry.
It's also City of London, but
that's true.
I did share a link. Would you mind playing this clip? It's right there. I think it's the Trump Gaza video. Have you seen that?
Will I get demonetized?
No, you won't. No, you won't. It's
sure?
It's where he's talking about.
No, it's a video.
What he wants to build.
It's an AI video. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's not it's not copyrighted or anything. So it's a Trump Gaza. You see that in the chat?
I do.
Some of the AI that's coming out lately is crazy. You could maybe mute that. We don't need that. Okay.
You got the Trump song though. Trump Gaza. Trump Gaza. You gotta hear the Trump.
Oh yeah, kids in rubble, chasing children. Oh yeah, you can have a beach resort. We can give the kids
Come through the tunnel. Look at that.
Yeah, let them eat cake. Yeah, right. The tunnel.
Transgender dancers. Transgender gay dancing. That's
Elon
what we
Musk.
Elon's
Can you
favorite.
imagine killing the kids for that? Like murdering
Jesus.
500,000 people? It's to put like bearded.
Wow. Oh, they do have beards. I thought you were making a joke. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
no.
I didn't notice the
But
first
the song
time.
Trump Gaza, it's the best. Trump Gaza beats the rest.
Oh,
We'll
man.
have to, you guys have to
Is
listen
this
to
a
that. Look at-
trolling?
No, he made this. He released this himself.
Wow, dude.
This is awesome, man.
Oh my god. Yep. The kids
And
are just
money.
gonna get money raining.
Yeah, see, that's what it's all about. It's only about money, guys. It's all
Well,
materialism.
it just shows the amount of inflation. It's going to get so high that you can actually dump dollars on children in other countries. And it doesn't matter because dollars are
Yeah.
worthless now.
It's confetti.
Right? Exactly.
They don't even put it in their pockets. They're just
Right.
playing around.
Yeah.
Trump Gaza. Oh my god, this is horrible. This is a dystopia. It's so freaking.
But he
disturbing.
released this. He put this out.
It's like the future of
Look,
the
the golden Trump statue.
We were talking about the golden Trump statue.
Look at this story. Go back to that. You got the golden Trump
Store,
statue,
yeah.
and this the Trump Gaza store with all the golden Trump icons.
Dude, there was a picture of him the other day. I've seen people with dementia. He looked really bad. Like his eyes are whacked where it's like the brain isn't computing when he was with Xi in
I'll bet
China.
you-
And I was just like, whoa, he's not all there.
I'll bet you that they like pulled the cord with Joe and he was normal until they gave him this dose of this thing that all of a sudden now he's demented. And I think they can do the same thing to Trump now that they're done with him.
Yeah.
I think that they have it's a tool in their arsenal. I don't think it's just dependent on the brain that's happening to. I think there's, they got a mixture just like Cosby and the A-Team and all the other guys that put it in his drink.
Genesis, yeah, like a dementia genesis. I bet
Right?
So that's enough for Trump Gaza. But but I want the gold statue in the town square and the golden Trump store. That's awesome.
Bring your dollars to Gaza.
You can't sell those because it's all copyrighted. You can't. He would sue you. Like I think he has like 400 live suits, or his family have like suits against so many people just for talking about him. I think we should wrap it up, guys. Why don't you guys mention your shows too? Where can people find Wake the Dead, Resonant State?
I'll say, please check out the Resonant State. I'm trying to build the show up. I was with Sean, and I saw how many views he had. I said I have the most views in the world. I'm trying to break the 3 figures. No, please support my podcast. I got a lot more material. I need the motivation. But Resonant State, I'm on YouTube, Spotify, BitChute, Odyssey, and there's one Rumble. So yeah, check it out. I am posting new material and trying to be with these superheroes here.
You should post some of the old material of the stuff that you used to do because you have recently acquired it. I've heard. I'm like, so I think that you should post some stuff because it is yours too. It's your voice, and who cares if he's got a paywall? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So but no, it's great to be here. So and just trying to keep the information and the connections because it's really we are at a crucial point. That's what I've been stressing. We really need to see. There's a couple different directions, but there's a big push for this full on. What do you want to call it? New World Order, dystopian. The Iran war is an opening for that, and there's a lot of other aspects that are coming. So just be conscious of that. And so, and I think we can navigate and change the direction because you want these clowns, running the world. I mean, come on. I don't.
No, we can just trust the aliens and AI to do it for us.
It's even scarier, man.
That's what's
like
coming.
These clowns running the AI is like a doubly, scary concept.
Especially since they're eugenicists or dysgenicists. Like they, Malthusian crazy people that just want to kill. You know what I mean? Like, and they want.
I'll find the clip. The guy, I literally asked Teal, like, "Do you want humanity to survive?" And he just couldn't answer. Like, you would think that that's an exact answer. Like, yes, I would do one. He couldn't answer. He was like, and the interviewer shocked. Couldn't even
shows
believe it.
his own psychosis. Like it shows he's self-loathing and like his own problems. Like that dude's crazy.
Neck deep with Epstein. And also like this other guy. Well, there was a weird nexus the other day is Brock Pierce, who was associated with Digital Entertainment Network, which some people have described as created by Hollywood for one sole purpose, which is to rape kids, was literally at the Doral golf course in front of the golden Trump, fist in the air thing. Like, there he is. He's literally right there. Have you guys seen that picture? It'll blow your freaking mind.
I saw a documentary about the digital network. It's some kids talking about being at the pool and getting predated.
Like, there's pool parties every day, guys. It'll be so much fun.
Gross.
Like, that was the whole point, according to some people, is like the whole point of Den. Like, there was no show that was ever produced because that wasn't the point.
Just think about it, Den, like a place where, like a dark place where, like people go to. Oh man.
Well, you got Bill Gates, right? They interview. He's like, "Yeah, if our vaccine campaign is successful, we can reduce the population of Africa by about 20 to 30%." And he says this in a live video.
That was great.
And it turned out the vaccine had chemicals that made women infertile.
Right.
And so, but these, the eugenics thing is absolutely serious, and it's been talked about. It's a thing I haven't posted about H.G. Wells back in 1938, the world brain. He's saying, we're running out of room for humanity. What, in 1938, dude? But we have to approach humanity like we look at crystallography or astronomy. We can't, meaning just, okay, we have to kill 100 million people. Cool. No problem.
Yeah.
10 billion.
H.G. Wells was doing sex orgies with Margaret Sanger. And if the listeners don't know, Margaret Sanger is the one who started Planned Parenthood. She was the head voice of Planned Parenthood. Killing more black babies that are born. That's what she was doing. Killing those weed races. Her and they would go to occult sex parties, and they had a thing going for a while. She and H.G. Wells. Figures, right?
I want to make sure everyone can hear. Okay, sir.
So this is
it's
real.
Like 12 people.
Hello, everybody.
And that guy if you can look closely, there's a guy in a purple hat. That's Brock Pierce. Around a bunch of evangelicals too. These are people praising Trump listeners.
I want to thank you so much for being there today, and more importantly for what you did. The statue is beautiful. I saw it during the weekend. We had a big PGA tournament with a great champion and all great champions actually, but. It was a great tournament, and I got.
But that's him. If there's a guy with like a blue and white shirt, and Brock Pierce is standing right in front of him. I think he's
wearing a pimp hat.
Yeah, he's wearing a pimp hat. Wearing a pimp hat.
It's funny that Trump won't even show up to this because
he probably doesn't want to be seen with him. Like, is Brock Pierce there? No.
Can't. Sorry.
Statue is huge, man. It looks like it's like 15 feet tall or something.
Looks like it's made of butter or something. Like it's gonna melt.
According to Epstein, Brock Pierce said. According to Epstein, Brock Pierce was the one who taught Epstein everything he knew about cryptocurrency. There he is, right there.
Wow. And it's funny. Like in statues, they like what they do with their hands or with their feet or whatever has certain meanings and stuff. Like. Somebody who had occult wisdom would have like a book or scrolls in their left hand or some shit. Like, what is he doing? He's playing pocket pool. They got him with his hand in his pocket. He's like fishing around. Like this, it's pretty funny. It's silly.
Jenny says, support Trump not too long ago, despite Trump having multiple connections with Trump. I think Trump has connections with Trump. I really do. You're absolutely right. Is he making an above, so below, like hand gesture?
Yeah, maybe that's.
Maybe that's it. Maybe
so below is hidden in his pocket, playing pocket pool.
What's the god demon with the goat head?
Baphomet? Baphomet. Yeah, but really what that is that's an inversion of Pan. Like Pan has a man on the top and like a man head on a goat lower half, and this is like an Eliphas Levi.
Eliphas Levi.
Eliphas Levi took it and swapped it. basically put the goat on top and the human on bottom. Like that's how.
Yeah, and the Knights Templar had a different Baphomet. They had like some skull or whatever too. So they believe like
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a what do you Teraf. It's a skull that where with magic ritual is animated and it can speak. Like that's where Bob John the Baptist's head was taken for a Teraf, and his head was on a plate so that the magician can animate the lips and make it speak. It can tell the future. It can tell all kinds of things. And like I've learned about this from Tracy Twyman. Actually, she talked about how like magicians would use baby heads a lot and would like nail them to a board and put them on the wall and like put like occult symbols all over the thing. And so like for the Knights Templar, their Baphomet was a severed head. And then if you think about it was a severed head that would talk.
it was their founder, I believe, like the original.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the head that they used. Okay,
yeah.
but if you think about the Bonesmen in the 322, they got Geronimo's head, and like for a Teraf, if you can get the head of a shaman or a seer or like a highborn, then that's more valuable. So like they stole Geronimo's head. Why would they steal Geronimo's head? It's for the Teraf. So like this is high occult magic. People should look into it. It's very interesting.
This is an email between Brock Pierce and Epstein.
I'm sorry, I just saw a note from Diana. She says, "Well, look where Tracy Twyman is now." Yeah, that's because she went to the FBI. She discovered. I don't know if her husband is scrubbing everything on the internet, but I'm just talking about her. Okay, like this is something that I know. She discovered sex trafficking of children on YouTube, and she brought it to the FBI because she thought that they would want to know and do some justice.
Yeah.
She was fooled into thinking that her government would help her. And then she was like gang stalked and she ended up hanging in her own garage. And she would never do that. She had a kid. She would never do that. So, and her husband is scared, is like taking everything that she ever did off the internet and like suing anybody. Like, I think there's some real shit going there. And I don't think that she did that to herself. So she went to the FBI, and that's why. If she went to other places, she might have survived. I think that's what happened. So I just need to say that. Sorry, guys. I love Tracy Twyman.
There are things in these files where they're talking about the FBI being compromised. And when they arrested Epstein, they did it in a secretive subset of the FBI where only like 5 or 10 people knew what the hell was going on because they didn't want to announce it to all the FBI because they thought it was compromised. Like it's literally a true thing. That's like one of the elements of the Epstein things. It wasn't leaked because they were afraid it could leak. Like that was their own internal concern. That makes sense.
Right.
I actually have something in here from these docs where like there's like one of these attorneys like, don't send your stuff to the FBI because you'll never see it again. They don't trust the FBI at all. Like literally one
Would
of the,
you after what we read with Grok the Clown? Like,
no,
yeah, dude.
No.
So
get an attorney. If you get in the FBI and they're talking, you just go, I want to exercise my Fifth Amendment rights and I want an attorney right now. Because that was what the other thing that I remember about the 302s and Trump and all that stuff was the general. I can't remember his name, but like they came to him casually and just, we want to have a casual conversation. So his guard was down, but then they used that conversation against him. It was General Mike Flynn. If I
never talk to cops, man. Never. Like,
I mean, maybe the cops are nicer, but I wouldn't trust the FBI at all.
Never. Yeah, dude, of course. And if YouTube is doing it, like if they're blatantly like keeping the videos up, even though people complain or whatever, like she found like mothers that were whoring their kids, and it's like mom owned whatever, and the kid would be in like, cheerleader uniform, and they would ask for private pictures, and they contact, like, it's a whole system, and YouTube knows about it, and YouTube lets it happen. So
this is from the Epstein files. You can see the EFTA number. Sigrid McCauley was Virginia Giuffre's attorney, and she's sending, I don't know why they redacted this, but she writes, no, it's somebody to Sigrid. You should know that just before Peter got in touch with you guys, I contacted the FBI in the U.S. too. After I informed the U.S. FBI, Reed Jeffrey, I was told to go to the FBI unit at the U.S. Embassy and take all my evidence along with me. I told them everything and was supposed to go the day after I spoke with you guys, but was told not to because they would take all my evidence and I'd never see it again.
Yep.
And we talked to earlier shows about, the criminal, forensic, criminology, and they come out and track down the serial killers. They come out to cover stuff up. You know what I mean? FBI comes in, investigation is shut down. And, and they promote like, oh, these guys are the genius masterminds of investigation. No, they're like, they're pinning murders on certain people.
John Douglas, all these guys. Dude, John Douglas was involved in the West Memphis 3 and the John Bonet thing. When I found out that he was involved with John Bonet, I just felt like my heart sank. Like, wow, this is so freaking dark. Because he's promoted as like this great mind hunter and all the stuff. Like Landing's the same way, like Satanic Panic and all this. And then you realize like his work on the West Memphis 3 is terrible. It's just total atrocity. And he turned, in my opinion, I've written an article about this, but like he turned some of the victims' parents because of his authoritative like expertise or whatever. They're like, oh, well, whatever you say, John, I guess you're right.
Mind control.
And the John Bonet Ramsey case, I mean, I'm sure people are familiar with it, but I mean, she was being sex trafficked. She was murdered during either an event, a ritual, and we found her body in the basement. We don't know what happened. It's the worst story ever. You cannot make a worse excuse. I mean, if you tried to come up with the worst thing, you could. I mean, it's unbelievable, right?
And then the note, and then like, yeah. And the people touching her body, like before the forensics, like,
it's super dark, man. And the dad who was like building the airport for freaking the island, North Michigan or whatever.
The
like,
dad of John Bonet?
No, the dad. Yeah. So John Bonet's dad's dad was involved in building that airport and had the thing close to Charlevoix, right? That's where they went after John Bonet died, which is in very North Michigan. And then there's that infamous island off the coast where it was brought up in the Detroit like sex trafficking, where they've trafficked kids there. And John Ramsey's dad built the airport at that island.
Wow.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Oh, it's
no.
So dark, bro.
And I know that John Bonet Ramsey's dad had another child that was killed before that.
Something like that. Yeah.
And it was like I don't know, it was a car accident or something. But I mean, they have to. It's blood in. You got to blood in with this. You know what I mean? Like even Yahweh says, "I want your firstborn." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's part of the system. They have to give up their kid when they're at a certain, like whatever, they get hired up to this rank.
I mean, there's
North
entire
Fox
networks.
Island. That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
look up North Fox Island.
Yeah,
you can actually.
And that's near Canada too, right? Is that like near the border of Canada?
It's in one of the Great Lakes. I can't remember which one.
Right. Well, Michigan is like Erie is above Ohio. But anyway, that reminds me of the Twin Peaks. You know how there was like the One-Eyed Jacks, this like elite club. They had gambling and shit, and it was like, and that's where the girl, whatever, I forget her name, the girl who got. The whole story is about this girl. They found a dead body of a girl. She was sex trafficked at this place, which was just by the border of Canada, which serviced like politicians and like all these like whatever. Like David Lynch talked about that in Twin Peaks. I mean, I guess it was Washington State next to Canada for that, but sounds real similar to this island here because it was an island in the movie or in the
North Fox Island is basically close to Green Bay at the top of Lake Michigan. So it would be, I don't know,
right at the tip of the mitten where the thumb is. Right. Laura Palmer. Yep. Thank you, chat. Yep. Thank you, Lizzie. Yep. Laura Palmer was the victim, and she was a teenage girl in high school who was being trafficked. And there was like this entity demon that would take over people, including her father, who would abuse her. And it's the entity is like the representation of the evil that is the SRA and the whole occult fucking, excuse my language. Sorry. Sorry. Anyway, I'll stop. But yeah, but like this is people, intelligent artists have been talking about this stuff for years.
this is a recent article, February 20th, 2026. I've never seen this. Before Epstein's Island, power and privilege shielded abuse on Michigan's North Fox Island. Michigan's analog age trafficking network mirrored the power structures later tied to Jeff Epstein. Interlochen was in Michigan too. And they have all this stuff. Like I did a show on this. It was tied to a lot of deaths in Detroit at the time. And there's a picture of where the island is. So it's that circle if you see it there.
I see, yeah.
This was a big network, man.
Yeah, huge network. Child exploitation network. I wish I could open. Oh, there it is. Somebody drew this elaborate diagram. Can't be close.
Does it let you open? Does it let you open? Oh, is that the
It's
guy that
connected
makes
to the Oakland County child killer case? I've interviewed a woman about that. It's connected. The island is connected to that case. Anyway.
All right.
Make sure there are links after the world. Yeah, I'll put the links, and I usually put them in the show notes, guys.
Yeah, Hans got to say his. I'll say mine before we're done. Wake the Dead. Oh, go ahead, Hans. You were going to say something?
No, I already said something, but yeah. Sean's show is Wake the Dead. My show is The Resonant State. William's show is William and Ramsey Investigates. No, I already said something. So go
okay.
ahead.
Yeah. People, I recently got a PO box, and if anybody would like to send me stuff, like I don't know, whatever you choose. Donations are very much appreciated, but whatever you choose, that's legal, I guess, or cannabis is legal here, so
GBH.
yeah, maybe not, but if it's a strange drug liquid, I might not take it. But anyway, please send me something. If you're gonna send a donation, please make it out to Sean McCann so I can cash the thing. But send anything to Wake the Dead, PO Box 93 at Oberlin, Ohio 44074. And also you can find my stuff, Wake the Dead, on all the videos and YouTube and Rumble and BitChute and Odyssey and Spotify, and you can find all the audio on like the Google and all that stuff. Wake the Dead is my thing. And you can find everything at onegreatworknetwork.com/Sean-McCann. That's where I post everything. And thank you, William, for joining us. Please tell us where we can find you and your recent works.
Yeah, it's William Ramsey Investigates is my podcast. And then I have a website if you're interested in books. I just got a new shipment of books. Awesome. And all my stuff is on Patreon ad-free. So you can join my Patreon. I usually get back. It's kind of a legacy spot, but I usually get back to people on there. And if you sign up, you get like every $20, you get a free book. So you actually have something tangible.
Awesome.
And you have ad-free stuff. So this will show up there. You can avoid all the YouTube ads and things like that for $5 a month. It's not very expensive.
Yeah, I also have an ad-free archive on my Patreon. I'm posting a lot of stuff. I have a lot of also rare book archives and various other things, including exclusive content. So please support the arts and support the expansion of the mind war as we take the reins of mimetic warfare and turn it back on the masters. We can make their golden statues into whatever. The melted butter.
Down into coin for the population. How about that?
I want to look like Mr. T.
We're helping to ungrok all the clowns out there. So.
Yeah.
Please
You can build
yeah.
bones back better, and you can actually be a fully autonomous individual again, and get away from the hypno program TV and the slop media and people who don't have your best interest and want you to be a stressed out, anxious filled, uninformed, malinformed person. So I think that's that would be the work that ties all three of us together, in my opinion. So thanks for having me again, guys. Till next time. Thanks for all the great comments and everything to the stream. 260 live listeners. If you love the show, please share it. I know times are tough, things are expensive, but just a click on sharing some of these episodes, if you find them edifying, worthwhile, please share them. And go to these places to give 5-star reviews. It helps with any algorithm or anything like that. Also, you can go to any one of our YouTube channels and get notifications, so you'll see these things coming up. Like, I'm trying to get more on the ball and set up the streams farther in advance so people know, instead of just putting them up the same day. So you'll kind of see more streaming as my YouTube channel's still there. Like, they haven't taken it down yet. Or channels, I should say. But thanks, everybody, and thanks for having me back, Sean and Hans. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's our pleasure.
Definitely our pleasure. That's great. Thank you again.